I was handsome before, but now with my braces off, I'm gorgeous.
It's Ned's Declassified Season 3, and everything is new. It might as well be called News Declassified. Thank God I practiced that, because originally it was Nudes Declassified, and I'm just glad I didn't say that here. Oh, jeez. We jump into a new grade, Episode 1, Part 1. And it's just all the excitement for the final year of middle school. You guys remember what that was like, right? A little superiority complex, a little too much ego. Obviously, the characters are pretty humble, so they don't go that far. But it is funny how dramatically changed they are because of all the new circumstances and this final year. As you know, things get very intense. Most shallow thing of the year, though, we notice that Cookie has a crush on Lisa Zemo now that she is pretty. She wasn't in the other seasons, so now that she's all cleaned up, I guess, Cookie likes her. Very shallow, Cookie. We left off with our main characters in 7th grade for a majority of the first 2 seasons, so this is a new refresher. One of the new teachers we have is the I teacher, which is basically a parody of the iMac, and it's just this teacher that is remote. Completely COVID related, of course. It's so funny, Ned's Declassified predicted this work from home thing way earlier than it happened. And everybody has a new grade resolution, which is kind of cute. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution, but for the grade. Definitely a very positive spin on what you're supposed to do in school. For me, I just wanted to get in and out. I don't even remember actually acknowledging a new grade.
You didn't like me the first day last year.
Really?
Good to see you again. Welcome, I'm Mr. Right.
I don't like you.
Cookies is to get to know the new Lisa, of course. Moses is to change her reputation to come across as nicer because people have thought she was intense in the past. And Ned's is to be tougher, which is really funny because this entire episode is just him accidentally beating up Loomer at every turn, making him look like literally the worst person ever. I kind of like this recurring bit, though.
That's why I'm going to recommend you see me 3 times a day so we can deal with these issues. And also because I have no one else to talk to. Oh, you're right.
I remember this promo, like, way too well when Ned's Declassified Season 3 was coming out. They're like, new season, final year. And it was a lot of that. And we had, like, Ned with piercings on his face. I think that's funny, seeing themselves, like, trying to figure out who they really are in their final year.
Honestly, Mr. Lowe, I'm nice.
I'm sensing a lot of hostility, Ned.
Gordy's like barely involved in the plot, but he wants Cookie to hack into the school system to download movies from the internet and be able to slack off more this year, which is actually so funny. I'm not sure if you guys have heard. Gordy is pretty much a main character, but also the janitor. Kind of crazy he weaves his way into the kids' lives, but it's kind of funny. It's not like creepy or like anything that is problematic. But he does tend to be a bad influence on them. I'm not sure if you've heard the internet rumor, or it's actually probably confirmed. Darren Norris, the actor who plays Gordy, has confirmed it. But essentially, Gordy is rich, and he doesn't have to have this job, so he doesn't take it super seriously, which is why he always pawns off his responsibilities to, quote-unquote, the night guy, every time he's told to do something. Yeah, so he is just this constant guy who's not really worried about losing his job and continuously entering the kids' lives. Moze has trouble not coming across as aggressive when she gets assigned a 5-page essay from the new I teacher. And it's fun watching Moze try to prove that she's actually a really polite person when she knows that's not true. And the teacher actually pushes her to do so, which is kind of crazy. Of course, Ned cares about impressing Susie, which will never stop. And it gets worse because obviously him beating up Loomer makes him seem like a jerk even more. And he just tries to be nicer and nicer, and it gets worse. Now Ned is like one of the most hated people in school because everybody's afraid of him. So he needs Loomer's help to actually fix this plan.
Beat me up before class gets out.
The resolve with Moze and I teacher is funny because the new teacher is like, oh, I made a resolution not to be tough on my kids, and then ends up doing the same thing to Moze. So it's kind of like sweet to just see that these people had their goals but are open to the fact that they've like misread them, and the fact that it's a teacher and a student like shows that it's a universal issue when somebody sets out a goal. It's just It's a really sweet moment. Oh my gosh. And of course, Gordy ends up getting caught by Krubs, and then the two have to actually scheme to get Krubs' password back, having a fake cutout on a webcam, which is so funny. This is like 100% before time.
I have a cold. Now, Krubs, tell me, what is your network password?
Flamingo.
Moze ends up coming through clutch and actually helps Ned save his reputation by making it look like Loomer beat up Ned, and therefore everybody's issues are solved. Ned, Moze, and Cookie are not scared of 8th grade anymore, and they find out that Mr. Sweeney is going to be their science teacher for a 3rd year in a row, which is actually kind of insane. Yeah, the tips in this are pretty interesting. It's make new grade resolutions, of course, the plot of the episode. New grades are better with friends. I don't know if that's a super helpful one. Stick with your new grade resolutions. Sure. And don't judge a new teacher by their first day. Oof, that's actually a pretty relevant one. Oh my god. The next episode is a lot more chill. It's called Dodgeball, and it's basically a stormy day, so they have to have gym inside, something that we all dealt with growing up. Ugh, I loved it so much better when it rained and we did not have to go outside. I hated doing the mile. But yeah, Coach Durga makes Ned the captain of the team and pretty much puts him in a scary spot because Loomer and his crew always attack people at Dodgeball. The bullies are superior in this moment. Everybody tries to get Moze on their side because she's like one of the best sports players, but she says she will not because of some unknown reason, which we'll probably find out later.
That's when it all went wrong.
We learn that she actually hit Coconut in the head and felt super bad about it, so she vowed to never play again, which is actually kind of sweet. So Ned and Cookie think they're pretty much gonna die without Moze, and Moze is like pretty okay with that until she learns that Coconut Head actually wasn't hurt by that injury, and she is never hurt him. So she has the confidence to come out, defend everybody, and actually win the game. Yay!
What are you waiting for? Finish him. He's weak and must be eliminated.
Coach Durga tells Moze to use the Force, and they keep using this reference, and it's Star Wars, which is kind of crazy. I think it's so funny. Moze ends up throwing it, misses, and then it bounces off and hits 3 players. Oh my gosh.
You missed.
Now, I've never seen more Dragon Ball Z type stuff in a kid's show until I saw this moment. Special shout out to the training video Coach Durgas made. I don't know why. That's just such a funny bit.
Is eliminated.
It'd be black and white. It's 2006. And then by the end, the sun comes back out, which is so funny. Then we got the tips for this one. It's stay elusive and stay in the game. Kind of vague, okay? Feed the balls to your best throwers. That is a good relevant tip. Barely has to do with school, but fine. And then utilize the lob and drill attack, which is an attack they use in the gym. Funny that they actually like give full-on gym tips. I think that's actually pretty helpful. I always find it interesting that they're able to go through like multiple subjects in a school's curriculum and then give tips on it. Like, that's so interesting to me. I forgot they did that. Then we got episode 2, part 1, which is reading, which, by the way, I did not like to do in high school. Getting assigned to read made it so much not as fun as you would think. Moze, of course, is the only character into the idea of having to read books, and of course, Ned doesn't like to, so this kind of feels relevant to me.
Spanish books, math books.
Moze ends up starting a book club, and Cookie wants to be involved, but he's not in it for the reading, so she's like, you cannot be a part of it. But then all the girls end up forming a gossip group instead anyway. Oh my gosh, not fair, Moze. So yeah, so they talk about it like Fight Club, where they're like, okay, we can't talk about this anywhere else. Meanwhile, Ned is trying to not read a book and do an entire report, until he learns that Gordy actually wrote a book, so he does get like a brief summary and is able to know exactly what the book's about.
They thought he was cleaning up, but he was really cleaning them out.
Turns out that iTeacher actually read it, so Ned is caught. He just keeps getting caught, and that's where I feel relevant to Ned. Oh my gosh, Cookie does drag in this episode again. I wonder how many times this happened.
And he's just here to meet girls.
Hey, lady.
Oh, the green eggs and ham reference is awesome. I love Dr. Seuss. And yeah, of course, book club comes to bite everybody in the butt because, you know, it's not what Moze wants it to be. Cookie keeps trying to break into it without an explanation, and Ned actually steals the concept of the book from this club. But then it turns out when he's presenting it, it's all the information Missy was gossiping about. So it wasn't even the actual book. It was just Ned getting caught with gossip. Oh well.
You're going out with Mike?
But Mike's best friend Paul is also dating Bridget and Lena.
Stop!
Interesting though, because we got some good tips on reading, which I could have used. Like, online quick notes can be very helpful. I agree. What if it said online ChatGPT could be helpful? That would be insane. Oh, can you imagine going to school again, but having ChatGPT? What in the world are we living in? Oh, and then the other tip is start a book club. Oh, okay, guys, thanks. Real original. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants makes a reference in this. We get Jane Eyre. Oh my god, there's so many, like, real books that they actually use. I wonder if they had to get the permission to use them. Then in the second part, we have principals. So an episode all about principals. Kind of cool. Principal Pal is retiring. We didn't really learn about him until the second season, but it's good to know. Krubbs is excited to take his place, but he ends up purposely making sure nobody else gets a chance to interview for the job.
Superintendent Proud! Hello!
So he'll be principal. This upsets Ned, Cookie, and Moze, who actually team up and try to stop him from getting his job, which is kind of cool that, like, they're willing to come together. I feel like most of the plots are literally separate until they actually have to come together. So they end up getting Dr. Lowe to actually fight and be one of the candidates for principal, and of course Krubbs is not happy with this and threatens to take him down, which is bullying. I can't believe that the teacher is, like, literally a bully. So real, though, when you think about it.
You don't have what it takes. Or deodorant.
Meanwhile, it's Gordy's job to make sure that Principal Pal doesn't give up his job or retire, so that way Krubbs will never be principal. Kinda cool. I don't remember seeing a lot of scenes with Gordy and Moze teaming up, but this is nice seeing them work together.
Don't you miss all these happy, sweet faces?
A lot of politics going on in here. I like that the kids get involved in what's going on in the school curriculum. Like, that's kind of crazy. At the end of the day, Moze's mentor, Mr. Wright, comes in clutch, and he ends up bringing out his doctorate from Harvard, and he applies for the job. He doesn't want to do it at first until Krubbs is like, you can't do it. And then he's like, actually, I think I am going to do it. And then the interview goes well, and yeah, he ends up getting the job, which is kind of sad to see Principal Pal go, but actually Mr. Wright is the perfect candidate. In this episode, the tips are get to know your principal, which actually is a pretty good tip. I wonder if, like, that actually would apply in real life. And then the other one is see the principal for teacher, student, and school problems. Okay, that's just a standard fact. At this point, they're just trying to put out any tip. All around, good idea. I like that the worst principal is taken down for all of this. Like, Krubbs does not deserve this position at all. We gotta talk about Principal Pal, though. This guy is like Papa Nichols from Drake and Josh on steroids. Like,
I captured the enemy, and I'm bringing him back to base.
the things they have this man do on Ned's Declassified is just insane to me. We do have to note there's a very important moment between Ned and Moze in the reading episode where Moze falls on top of Ned and they end up having a conversation there. Not normal. If I saw two kids on top of each other on the floor, I would not think they were talking. What the heck, guys?
I'm the 73rd most popular kid in school.
The next episode is popularity, and this one is very, very relevant. It kind of reminds me of, like, Mean Girls, but in a really positive way. Obviously, popularity has a big impact on high school life. It's one of the most overdone tropes I feel like I've seen anywhere ever. I'm gonna spoil the tip for you super early in this. It's just, don't be popular, it's not worth it. Oh, okay, fair enough, writers of this show, thanks. So in this episode, there is a list of people in order of popularity. There's like a top 10, and then there's like everything past 100. And it's really interesting because each of the main characters are placed on a completely different spot. Moze is in the top 10, which she does not like, and actually it's kind of resentful of it. She doesn't want to be around the popular kids. She doesn't like that just because she's quoted popular means she has to be with a group of people. Fair enough. Very reasonable. Ned isn't that far down the list. I just know he's not as far down as Cookie. Cookie is like one of the last ones with the band geeks and everything, so obviously it matters to him to figure out who wrote this list. That's kind of his plot line here, is he finds out that it's this guy named Albert, which, by the way, we have so many other extras. You're telling me it has to be this guy? Okay, random. But yeah, so Cookie is trying to pretty much double down and find proof that this is the guy who wrote the list. He does. He gets him to confess, and obviously he doesn't want anybody to know, so they don't bug him to be up or down on the list. Fair enough. Ned is, like, super determined to get into the top 10, because with his, like, placement, he's worried he'll never be able to be with Susie. Susie and Missy are some of the most prominent people on the top 10, and it's interesting, because Missy actually promises Ned that, hey, I can help you get higher on this list and get popular again. And then also says that she can help him attract Susie. And then she's like, Susie likes piercing, Susie likes this. And then later we find out that she's just tricking him.
Ned doesn't like you anymore, and he's totally into me. And body jewelry.
But you know I like Ned.
You had your chance to date Ned. In fact, you had 100 chances, and you blew all of them. So bye.
Knows that Susie likes him back and is just telling him to do all this stuff that she doesn't like in order to draw him away. And Missy's ultimate goal is to date Ned again, which is kind of crazy that that's like always her goal. Like, you're not in school for any other reason. Come on. The episode ends in a pretty sweet plot twist where Susie is like, okay, if he's not popular, I'm not going to be popular either. More so through putting on all these rings and thinking that Ned wants that. And it's cool because they come together in a way that, like, they're both, like, trying to impress each other. Kind of feels a little shallow that they were both trying to act like different people to get each other, but hey, we're not gonna get reading into that too much. And they officially go out, which I completely forgot that this got, like, really official. Like, they are officially together now. Oh my gosh, Ned's dream has finally just come true, and this adds such a weird dynamic to the rest of the series.
My formula considers future popularity potential. Today's Waynies are tomorrow's rock stars.
And to think an episode about popularity would lead to this. Oh, very interesting. I always forget the continuity of all this stuff because of how much structure Ned's Declassified has. It almost is like a detriment to it, because I can't tell what's actually happening with the characters because it's all formatted based around the school subjects or something. But yeah, I don't foresee anything going wrong. You know, Susie's gonna have to get used to these friends that end up going on top of each other in the hallway and talking. I hope she gets used to that. This does remind me a lot of the promos I saw for this season, because clearly things change a lot in the third season. So it's cool to have, like, everybody on the same page. Then in the next episode, it's about stress. Okay, stressing out. That's a cool idea for an episode. You love the mental health stuff. So do I. This episode is about Evelyn Kwong and Cookie going neck and neck in the top 20 grade markers, finding out who the smartest kid is, which is so funny because, you know, in the last episode, Cookie was at the bottom of the list, and for this, he's at the top of the list. So now, suddenly, these guys are competing with one another. Meanwhile, Susie and Ned are dating, and Susie doesn't want to talk to him. So Ned's, like, worried they're gonna break up already.
I got rid of him. I'll be right there.
Meanwhile, this eye teacher is really getting closer to Moze and being like, hey, we're a lot alike. And it really makes Moze unhappy, which is so funny to think about.
I might be overscheduled. I do too much stuff. I teacher says we're alike. What am I gonna do?
Breathe.
I totally remember projecting onto teachers being like, oh, do you think I'm gonna end up like that as an adult? And not in a negative way, but sometimes positive. So Cookie gets so hung up on this competition with Evelyn that he actually turns down pizza with Lisa. Oh my gosh. So they're both trying to write this long extra credit essay to compete with one another, and Principal Wright adds to Cookie's plate by being like, if you get the highest GPA, we're actually going to get the highest score for the town. And it's like, whoa, I guess there is a lot of pressure.
Me and Lisa are getting a slice of pizza. Since you went all crazy with her grades, asked her, and she said yes. Now she would come along and all, but no.
Oh.
Gordy introduces this idea of stress vision, which is super relevant. It's like he's not able to be unbiased because he's under stress, which is a very real thing. So he advises him not to talk to Susie quite yet. In the end, Ned's whole plotline is resolved when he finds out that he's just that Susie's just been on the phone with her dad saying she loves and misses him, and he thought she was talking to a more handsome guy, which maybe he was. I don't know. Which maybe she was. I don't know. Her dad could be an 8 out of 10. Who knows? So, blatant misunderstanding. Okay, fun end to an episode. Cookie finally is relieved of the pressure when he gets the scores he wanted, and the principal is like, you know, you're a lot like me. And we get another Moze situation where Cookie is self-conscious about that, because Principal Wright is like, I wish I made more friends and actually did other things besides just study so hard. And that is the truest lesson I've ever learned in Ned's Declassified. Like, don't get too into school, because there is a bit of a balancing act that's really important. So yeah, a lot of stress for all the main characters, and the way it makes them act is insane.
I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm a little freaked out.
I don't know if you noticed, but this entire stressed out episode does not have any tip note on screen, which is kind of crazy because it seems like the most natural to have that happen, but okay, whatever. The next episode is called Dismissal, and I really like this one. To me, it's most nostalgic because it was on the DVD for the big field trip movie event, which is so funny. Of course, they had to have an episode from the season. And this one does a really clever plot device of having a countdown for the 11 minutes of the episode be the complete episode itself. It reminds me of actually getting ready for the bus when you leave middle school. Like, you do only have, like, what, 15 minutes to get from one place to the other. And of course, all the main characters are struggling with different objectives at this last 10 minutes.
Ah, cookie time. A time to wind down and reflect. Math was hard today.
Ned is worried about his commitment with Susie, which is kind of crazy because he's been pawning after her for like literally forever, and she moves into his locker and he's like nervous about it. So in this 10 minutes, he's essentially trying to communicate with Susie. Meanwhile, Moze has to go to the bathroom before she gets on the bus, which is way too realistic. If anything, I would question if this was even worthy of a episode plot point. I don't know. And yeah, it's just all about beating that line, making sure you can get to the bathroom before you can get to the bus. It's cool. Her response to this, though, is really creative. She inevitably goes to the drama club and finally gets into boys' clothes and sneaks into the boys' bathroom, which is kind of a good idea when you think about it. Until Cookie recognizes her, then it's awkward.
Moze?
Ned gets a lot of girl advice from Gordy, of course, the person he's the most like. It's so funny to see them act together all the time. Like, what a weird mentorship. Cookie's usually always early, but in this one particular instance, I guess he is finding out there's a pop quiz the next day, so he has to run in and find his science book. Something that would be very stressful if you had to do it before you get on the bus. Oh my gosh, have you guys ever missed the bus? Especially leaving school, that must be crazy. The countdown really does add to the stress of the episode. It kind of reminds me of that Malcolm in the Middle bowling episode, where it's famous for like just breaking the format of like what it was used to. Ned's Declassified does such a good job here at that. They really capture the anxiety that it must take in order for this to happen. Cookie is pretty mistreated in this part, though, because literally right when he's about to get back onto the bus, Evelyn corners him and kisses him. Oh my gosh, another major plot point.
He's off!
You kissed me!
They're really good at just like throwing in major things to happen. So yeah, Cookie leaves with a shocked face. Ned finally gets to the bus on time, and so does Moze. So it's kind of like a happy ending. The tip is make a pit stop before the big ride, which, what big ride? Why aren't you specific that it's a bus ride? I don't know. That part doesn't seem necessary here. All around, like a really creative episode. And I actually covered this next one really recently. This episode's called The School Play, and of course, every show's gotta do a drama club episode. Jimmy Neutron did it, Wizards of Waverly Place, Hannah Montana. Actually, I'm not even gonna get into all the ones that did it. The point is, drama club is a big part of the high school experience, whether you're in it or you just see a couple shows. Like, I don't know, I was a big drama kid, so of course I would say that. They're doing Romeo and Juliet, which obviously the most unique show ever, and of course, Susie is going to be Juliet. Ned's really nervous because they got Corbin Bleu to be Romeo, which I would be too. If you got somebody from off-Broadway to be in one episode of a show, of course he's gonna steer your girl.
Be jealous.
be very jealous.
So this whole episode is like him trying to sabotage Corbin Bleu, and it's actually really funny how often like he's close to succeeding. Corbin Bleu is as rude and disrespectful as you expect him to be. It's so funny though, because of course he's never been on this show before. Like, you know the extras, and he is not one of them. So like, how are you gonna convince me this is real? And then Moze, of course, the stage manager. Oh my gosh, what a role for her to be on the crew. She's so good at like being bossy, so of course this like makes sense. She's the only one getting in Ned's way of like making his plan work, which I love it when the friends are pit against each other. Definitely makes for some really awesome conflict to go down.
Time for the kissing scene?
Not yet. Go.
And just for the record, the things that Ned does to this guy is borderline illegal. Thank God he's like under the age of 18, or he would go to prison for some of these hijinks. Like, look at all this. I can't believe Ned is trying to get away with this.
Spence, I'm a big-time Hollywood movie producer from Hollywood. I like your stuff, kid. You're gonna be big, big, big!
In the end, they get Gordy to dress up like a film Hollywood producer and actually get him to not be a part of the play. And it works. Oh my gosh, what a rude way to leave the show. The whole thing goes haywire with all of them trying to like get their goals to a point where like they even injure Susie, and next thing you know, Cookie and Ned are the only people that have to fill in for this role to work, and oh my god, it's so funny seeing them have to act next to each other.
You, kiss I shall place.
Oh, Romeo!
The tips in this episode are just as fun. They're like acting, the play's the place to start. And then don't act, work behind the scenes. Okay, I think if that's all we could possibly muster up out of this drama club experience, then fine. That's some pretty decent tips, especially if you've never been in drama. In the end, they get the comeuppance, and yeah, that's kind of how the episode ends. At least it is fair for everybody. Okay, so now we got the Halloween episode. So Moze says there's never a Halloween party at Polk because nobody wants to organize it. And since there's no party, nobody really wants to dress up. But Cookie loves Halloween, so he's the only one in costume.
The candy, the costumes, the candy.
Principal Pal actually puts the three of them in charge of organizing a Halloween party for the school. Cookie has a plan to go trick-or-treating, but Ned says they're not going, which would actually break my heart. I love Halloween. He says there's only 3 phases of Halloween. It's trick-or-treating, fun costumes, mischief night, scarier costumes, and Halloween parties. The rest of the school finds out that the Halloween party is going to come, and they get excited. Ned and Moze ask for help from Gordy and Krubs, which is such a funny duo. Like, to imagine these two authorities working together on something so spooky, that's actually really funny.
Okay, I'm in.
Me too, but I'm not cleaning up any doo-doos in the pants.
So they make like a haunted hallway with a graveyard and night terrors.
Oh, that is one great sign.
Ned, Moze, and Cookie decorate the gym for the party and find costumes. Ned's a vampire, Moze is a ghost, and Cookie is a werewolfy, okay? Gordy and Krubs work on the haunted hallway while Principal Pal tries to try it out. And then it turns out he's allergic to strobe lights and dies.
That's not good.
Oh my god. So they just assume that they've killed somebody, and since their phones are dead, they can't help him. Oh my gosh. So Krubs tells Ned and Moze and Cookie to go to class while he takes care of Pal and calls the paramedics. But the two of them put Pal on a cart and wheel him to the office. He falls down the stairs, which is insane. Why is nobody actually taking care of this principal? And he falls into the science class. Then they have to distract Sweeney so they could drag Pal out of the class.
Oh, we're just upset we can't see the wonderful things you wrote on the board.
They have trouble carrying him, and he falls. Oh my gosh, there's just so much going on. This poor old man. Like, he's been, like, slightly going crazy in general, so, like, to have him actually die on the school floors is a little dark for my taste. They convince the school that the Pal is alive by walking him into his office, which becomes, like, more of, like, a Weekend at Bernie type thing. And yeah, it does end super positive when we learn that he's just waking up and he was just tricking the kids all along. Oh my gosh, you could have told Gordy and Krubs though. Imagine these employees thought they actually killed their boss.
But you had no heartbeat.
Chest plate.
You had no pulse.
I have no pulse.
Oh.
The party ends up going off perfectly, and the haunted house scares Loomer and the Gronies. So, okay, kind of good way to end it. The tips are get involved, throw a scary party, have fun and make your own haunted hallway, and everyone can be a Phase 1 Halloweenie. So, like, you don't have to get super into it, which I disagree with. But hey, I am not unbiased in this. They really committed to the Halloween bit this year because the second episode is called Guide to Vampires, Ghosts, Werewolves, and Zombies, and it's essentially like an alternate universe where it's James Polk Middle School instead of school, and Ned is a vampire struggling to turn into a bat, so he could pass the BATs. Oh my gosh, what a pun. And Sweeney reminds him that he has to change into a bat in order to pass the exam. And then he'll have to go to summer school, which, oh my god, all the puns are ridiculous. Moze is a ghost who tells Cookie that Loomerstein is looking for him, so Loomer is Frankenstein. It's just essentially every character gets assigned a really cool Halloween character. And of course, Gordy has to catch the vampire weasel, which you guys are getting lazy. You're just putting the word vampire in front of weasel. Like, what is that? Moze tells Cookie that he's a werewolf and shouldn't be scared, so yeah, like, why would they actually have a problem? Since there's no full moon, he can't be a werewolf or stand up for himself to Loomerstein, so it becomes a big issue. Ned and Gordy devise a plan to steal Carl from Krub's office so Ned could pretend to transform during his exam. Okay, nice cheat, nice cheat. Obviously, Carl escapes, and Gordy just suggests Ned just tries studying. Doesn't work. Moze asks Lisa if she wants to be a ghost, and all she would have to do is die.
I don't know. What do I have to do? Die. I think I'll pass. How about Susie? I think you guys would be great friends.
So Moze ends up trying to kill Susie, which is really dark considering the love triangle going on. So this entire episode, Moze is trying to turn Susie into a ghost so she could have a friend, and it's kind of depressing when you think about it. Ned ends up transforming into a bat at study hall, but still doesn't know how to fly. Moze's attempts to kill Susie just fall flat, and Cookie's attempts to change into a werewolf just don't work without the full moon.
I'm a dead wolf, man.
In the end, Krubs uses a voodoo doll of Ned to cause him pain, which I find super crazy. And then literally none of this stuff gets resolved. So just as Loomerstein approaches Cookie, Ned moons him, which is insane. They did this on a kid's TV show. And Cookie ends up turning into a werewolf that way. Ew, what a weird resolution. Yeah, Gordy has a plan to blow up the weasel.
Adios, vampire weasel!
By the way, how much dynamite did you use?
Everything is unhinged in this episode, and they were not afraid to take Halloween to the next level.
Well, I guess TNT really does solve everything.
We end up with Ned waking up, only to find out that this was a dream he had at the party from the episode before, so none of it was real. And the tips are kind of irrelevant too, like zombie plus death equals new ghost friend. Don't know how that's going to apply to my life. A friend's moon is as good as the real thing. Also really uncomfortable. I don't agree with that at all. And then too much candy can give you nightmares. Yeah, that just breaks my heart because it's unfortunately true from first-hand experiences. Oh well. I didn't realize that the second half of this episode really does make a lot of references to the pilot, like Moze wanting to have a new friend, Gordy wanting to catch the weasel, and Ned wanting to pass one of Sweeney's tests. Like, I don't know, that's just a really generic, but at the same time, that is what Ned's is, you know? They still act like the principal is the principal, like Principal Pal didn't retire in the principal's episode. Don't know how to go about that. And I think it's safe to say that these second Halloween iteration is off canon. There's no way this counts toward everything. So the next episode we have is called Art Class, and this is funny because it takes such a pretentious approach.
That's a naked lady. What? No, it's not. It's a bunch of squiggly lines.
Look at the naked lady!
So Ned makes a drawing that he claims to be a bunch of squiggly lines, but everybody else is like, dude, this is a naked lady. And girls just smack him across the face, which I find so funny to think that, like, everybody misinterprets his art. We have a new art teacher that I swear I've not seen before. He looks like a neon white coconut head. Like, what? Everybody is offended by Ned's drawing, and he does not know what to do. Literally, the principal corners him at the school and is like, what are you gonna do about this? The art teacher actually has an auction for Ned, trying to sell it for millions of dollars. So Ned actually like commits to this idea he's an artist and tries to like make it authentic to him, but it really doesn't work.
Oh, so close. Well, not really. Who are we kidding, right? If only you were famous.
Meanwhile, Cookie is turning this into a full business where he has a bunch of kids do his art projects. They're like 6th graders, and then dresses them up to do the project. After the child labor, I already find this questionable, but then he puts on a red robe, and then suddenly it looks like he's doing like a Santa Claus cult. How in the world would something end up like this?
That is what art does. Artists must suffer for the art. That's why they call it pain.
Over time, Ned gets more and more ashamed, literally hiding himself, because being an artist is complicated, guys, trust me. With a few pointers from the teacher, Ned realizes he can attack this from like another point of view. So they end up having an auction where they try to sell the painting and use all the money for the art program. Okay, they keep talking about how they're going to shut down the arts because of Ned's mistake, and that is so relevant. I definitely think a school would do something like that. This really rich woman with a little dog in her hand is the one who spends all the money, which is also pretty accurate. But yeah, the tips at the end of the episode are really cute. It's like, wear smocks and hats and wear your art. Okay, not a painter, ask about other art projects. Make an art class, homemade gift class, which is like just making it productive, which I also agree, that's a good idea. Okay. In the end, Ned did not win, and I like that. I like that it's like kind of a failure on his end. Then we go to the next half of this episode is called Lost and Found, and this is actually kind of really random. I did not expect him to make an episode called Lost and Found. So it's basically Ned finds these really expensive athletic shoes and wants to take them, but obviously they're in Lost and Found. They belong to somebody else. Krubs is like the big monitor of the Lost and Found suddenly.
Nice try, Bigby. All of these items stay in the Lost and Found until Friday, which is today, until 3 p.m., which is in 6 hours from now. Only at that time will any unclaimed items become available to Vulch.
And Moze has this like ethic complex where she's like, I can't let you take somebody else's items from the Lost and Found because I lost my dog years ago. Cookie kind of has a good idea to like combat this though. He's like, you should just find Moze's old dog and she won't even care about monitoring you anymore. Okay.
This is not my puppy bear. You bought this online and power sanded its face.
I did not.
Observe!
Meanwhile, Cookie realizes that he can't find his MP3 player, and that has a really embarrassing song called Cowboy Cookie on it, which I remember thinking this joke was hilarious.
Cowboy Cookie, the bullies, they don't scare him. Cowboy Cookie, yippee, yippee, ow!
So Cookie is on the look for his MP3. Ned is trying to stall however it takes to make sure that he could get to the shoes on time, and Moze is keeping an eye out. She doesn't really buy it when Ned gives her the stuffed animal of the little doggy. So, yeah, she's not going to be fooled, guys. He ends up locking both him and Moze outside, so that way she can't stop him from finding its original owner.
But you're here too, so you won't be able to claim the sneakers!
And then next thing you know, they find the secret trap door of all the lost items. It turns out Krubs has been hoarding it all this time, which is really creepy. A dark psychological issue must be going on with Krubs. This is insane to think about.
Hey, you found my secret lair.
And we found this, and this.
My music player, I'm safe.
These are mine.
But yeah, Ned ends up being the one to have the shoes until Seth comes in and says that they're his shoes, which is actually not that crazy. I can't believe they didn't think of that first. Ned does the bigger thing and gives them back to Seth. The end. Okay, weird that we had an episode about a lost and found system, but I'm not against it after all I saw.
So how long do you guys think I need to stay in disguise?
Cowboy Cookie, yippee, yippee, yeehaw!
The only tip, though, is chain it and you won't lose it, which, okay, but you can't even chain money, something that is, like, important to hold on to. Okay, the next episode we have is social studies. Okay, it's a topic that we haven't seen yet. That's good. So it seems like there is a project where the best team will win a trip to Washington. Okay, that sounds exciting. So everybody pairs up. Cookie wants to work with Lisa because it would be like a romantic getaway. But Moze wants to pair up with Ned. Unfortunately, he's spending all of his time with Susie, which, by the way, Moze, I think if you want to win, teaming up with Ned is not the best idea. Not only does he not have good grades, but he's also got a really poor work ethic and distracted by his girlfriend, as you'll see multiple times in this episode. Oh, okay, whatever.
Are you jealous?
I'm not jealous.
Okay.
But this is a very clear indicator of their relationship. Moze becomes like super annoyed that Ned is ignoring her for Susie. Of course, it's like, why did he have to be the one on the project? Cookie asks her if he's jealous, making her a little insecure.
Evelyn and I are gonna win the social studies trip, which means I'll have to spend the whole weekend with her. Can you imagine?
And he is paired off with Evelyn. Oh no, okay. Meanwhile, Evelyn and Cookie are gonna make a model of a city, which Cookie purposely breaks. Oh my god, Cookie is not a good partner. Eventually he even burns down the next model and Evelyn quits. So he'd rather fail than work with her, which is really complicated considering they shared a kiss earlier. Things get way too far when Ned reveals that he's gonna go to Susie's house for dinner, despite the fact it's him and Moze's hangout day. Oh my gosh, come on, Moze. She could push this aside just for this. I can't believe it. She's seeming so jealous at this point. And meanwhile, this is a funny side plot. Pal principal is insistent that he is still the principal, which is crazy because he must have like amnesia or something.
Ned, no running in the hall.
Sorry, and shouldn't all of this be in your principal's office?
Yes, but Pal sort of thinks he's still principal.
Because he does not remember leaving, and Mr. Wright has to continuously break the news to him. Kind of feel bad about him. He literally even, like, acts as if he is still the principal a couple times, just to, like, get closure. And eventually Mr. Pal is like, oh, that was a test on you, actually. And Mr. Wright is like, what the heck? Which I would be too. Why would that have happened? The resolution for Ned's plot line is that he tells Susie we're gonna have to do another night, and decides to hang out with Moze, which, not the right solution to that problem, but okay, guys.
So she took it well.
Oh, yeah.
Then the next episode is kind of a bold one. It's called Embarrassment, and of course it's like about the social issue. The entire cold open is 30 seconds, and it's just Ned farting, which I do not remember at all. That is a crazy decision. Then we're introduced to Moze's love interest, Feynman. Ooh, now this is about to come up a lot. So he's a foreign exchange student, and Moze is really interested in him, with pretty much making a fool of herself every time she tries to talk to him. Then Cookie gets determined not to let himself be pantsed, and all of them are basically dealing with embarrassment and how to overcome it or not really worry about what the other people are thinking, which is super relevant to a middle school experience, for me at least.
Everyone can play, and whoever pants is cooked the most by the end of the day is king of the pants!
Timmy Toot Toot comes back, which is this weird side character who had a whole farting complex, I guess, and he's actually thinking Ned is challenging him for his embarrassing outburst in class, which, oh my god, how embarrassing. So he starts to try to fight Ned. What? Susie is really embarrassed around Ned and is even like not sitting with him in class anymore. This is insane. I can't believe Susie is going this far to like not associate with him. He even is the topic of conversation when Susie is like, is Ned gross? And it's like, wow, she's really taking this seriously. A lot of fun in this episode. Cookie tries to like avoid getting his pants pulled down, but they somehow find a way in a bunch of different scenarios. I don't know, that's really funny to me. And then in the end, Susie accidentally farts in the middle of class, and Missy calls her on it, but Ned ends up covering for her, which I guess is sweet.
It wasn't Susie. It was me. I am Spartacus.
He calls himself Farticus, which is a reference to everybody admitting when somebody else has like done something wrong and being like, I am Spartacus. But yeah, the tips in this one are interesting because it's don't overheat those fart starters. Okay, and know what you're gonna say before you say it. Fair enough. And try wearing a belt to avoid low-fitting pants. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess don't be vulnerable to getting pantsed. Okay, victim blaming. And Cookie just realizes that embarrassment is what makes us human, so let Loomer keep pantsing you. Oh, okay. Next, I'm excited because we have an episode called The Bus, which I didn't expect him to do at this age, and it's like completely taking place on the bus and their hometowns, which is so rare for Ned's Declassified. I feel like they're always within the school, but it's cool because it's the last season. Like, we gotta go out of our way like this. Everybody has a goal to maintain, but the bus is the thing that gets in the way for everybody. Like, Moze wants to get a seat on the bus with Feynman. And at the same time, Ned wrote a letter to Susie that he wants to get back because he accidentally confessed he loved her, which is, whoa, that's crazy, Ned. But hey, he's a Pisces, that's how it'll be.
And if she were here, what would she want you to do?
Probably to stop calling her.
No! She'd want you to get these kids to school on time and before Susie gets there.
Yep.
And Cookie just never was tardy, so he wants to keep his reputation, which is actually kind of real. I do remember friends that, like, have pride in going to school every day. Kind of random, but okay.
I'll catch him at the third stop.
Mom, we need to ride to school.
Mr. Quest is the bus driver. We see him very rarely, but we saw him in an episode before this, like Dismissal, when they were on the bus. That was cool. But he just had a breakup, and he's super depressed, doesn't feel like driving the bus.
I'm so alone. I can't go on. I can't drive the bus today.
Which, I can't believe that this man is doing that. It's definitely the perfect entrance for some conflict here. So Moze and Ned do get on the bus, but Moze deals with her own problems, like accidentally getting pulled into a seat with Martin Quirrelly and not being able to see Feynman. Oh gosh, that's hard. Meanwhile, Ned is trying to give a pep talk to the bus driver. I don't know why the bus driver would rely on this kid to, like, give him a pep talk. Professor Xavier, the science teacher, ends up showing to Cookie's rescue, and the two go off on an adventure to get to school in time, which I think is hilarious.
Hop up! I get you there! We ride on the wind like Ukrainian geese!
They, for some reason, stop for a thrift sale. Like, why in the world would you guys do that? It's funny, though, because they have, like, a little montage of them hanging out. It's fun to see a student and teacher bond like this. So Mr. Quest drives the bus super fast, and Moze falls into the seat with Feynman. So that plot's solved, I guess.
Hey, Feynman. It's great sitting with you today.
Cookie gets to school in time, and the only one who loses for real is Ned, who took Susie's homework, not the love letter, and that's where the episode ends. Kinda controversial. I wonder what's gonna happen. Yeah, the tips in this are a lot, actually. We have use bus time for forgotten homework time. Also, I agree, that's relevant. Look before you sleep, because, yeah, you will fall asleep on the bus. I definitely have before. And use the shift to protect your seat, which is like just shifting your seat and... Oh, okay, I'm not going to translate that. Then use the seat hop method to move around the bus. Okay, that's a safety issue, but sure.
This is unexpected, but okay. I'll give you another chance.
We have fun in the second part of this episode, too, because it's Guide to Bad Hair Days, another thing that seems like irrelevant, but hey, they're getting creative with these ideas.
It's not a school subject, but it's a major school topic.
Ned and Moze are both having horrible hair days. Like, Moze is trying on a bunch of different looks to try to attract Feynman, because I guess that's her adventure. Ned has $20 and is trying to get a haircut for free nearby, but it would cause him to ditch school, which is an interesting goal for him to have.
Word in the hall is you're gonna bust out of here for a free haircut. We want it.
I want it off, man. I want it all off.
Him and Coconut Head make this attempt because it requires them to go to the high school, which is cool because we never see the high school. We only, like, talk about it every now and then, but the fact it comes up in this episode is also cool. Ned's super excited to go on a date with Susie later. I guess we're gonna forget about this whole love thing.
Forgive me! Save yourself!
Ned ends up getting a horrible haircut, which I did not expect to happen. And so it's more so about him covering it up. It's like this giant chunk of hair out of the back of his head. I don't know how he didn't notice this was not going to be a good haircut. And yeah, all the high schoolers are very threatening toward him. They even steal his money. Okay. It's cute to see Ned team up with characters he never would have before, like Crony and Coconut Head, which, by the way, I didn't know this guy's name was Crony. It makes sense. Feynman keeps not enjoying any of Moze's haircuts, which, like, have a escalating reaction to you constantly asking for this man's opinion on her hair. Like, they're not dating.
Jennifer, is there a problem here? He says he doesn't like my hair, but I have tried every hairstyle known to man. He
has hair issues.
Of course, Cookie is trying to get Lisa's attention, and Krubs, who, like, suspects Ned of leaving the school, ends up tackling Cookie, who's dressed in all black, to make it seem like he was trying to escape. In the end, Krubs did find out that Ned ditched school because of the cameras, and he gets detention. Meanwhile, Susie goes to hang out with Cookie and Moze alone. Oh my gosh, that would break my heart. Guys, come on, don't hang out without me. You gotta admit, though, when the shop teacher ends up giving Ned the haircut, and it's like this beautiful montage, I don't know why, that's just like my favorite part of this episode.
It looks great!
Please give me the insight on how they managed to add hair to him. Like, haircuts are supposed to subtract, not add. Interesting end to an episode. I feel like watching Cookie vie so hard for Lisa's approval is funny, knowing that, like, he just barely grew any hair and then suddenly it's ripped off now. Like, what a hair day concept. Like, why is that even a thing? The tips for this are, for guys, hats hide grease, grime, and fleas. Oh, fleas. And for girls, scrunchies and clips can tame the wildest mane. Okay, this is actually pretty accurate. I have had some bad hair days at my school, so yeah, maybe this is worth talking about. Okay, so this Ned's Declassified is about revenge. Wow, that was actually really dark. I feel like there's some school subjects we haven't done yet, and now we're doing an entire, like, episode on revenge? It starts really out of character with a narrator and a sneak preview of what's to come, which is crazy for an 11-minute episode.
Cookie being chased! Mystery girl! Ned upside down?
Here's a little story about revenge.
So they do that thing again where all three main characters are going through something very specific in this revenge situation, with each character claiming that they are better than revenge and they wouldn't do it. Actually, no, Ned's pretty proud that he wants to get it. Billy Loomer has wronged him so many times, which makes sense, he is the school bully, and Ned pulls revenge on him by, like, breaking his chair in the middle of class. Oh, okay, I think that's fair. It's a very ethical dilemma in this episode, because Ned takes on this whole persona. Basically, other people start asking Ned to help get revenge on people that have wronged them, and then suddenly Ned is harassing everybody in Polk Middle School. Yeah, like,
I know it's goofy, but Missy got what she deserved.
he just starts beating up people for different reasons. He's a glorified bully in this episode, and even though he looks really cool, it's like a little comic book like Revenger hero I don't know, it's cool, but people get upset pretty fast, as you could imagine, because then he's getting revenge and suddenly everybody else has a vendetta against Ned. I don't think he really thought this one through. Oh, but you know what? This is the pose he does in the theme song, so that's all that makes up for it. Corbin Blue's back? I can't believe Corbin Blue had made more than one appearance on Ned's Declassified as like a casual role, when really he should be doing High School Musical, bro. Go back to work! Meanwhile, Cookie and Evelyn are in a weird spot in their relationship. There's like a pop quiz going on, but it's not really about the pop quiz. Evelyn is essentially looking out for Cookie 1 second, kissing him on the cheek, and then another second screaming at him. So he's getting some mixed signals. And if I were Cookie, I would also be rightfully confused.
I don't get it. 1 minute she kisses me, and then she tricks me.
Ugh, this is what love is.
For treating him so confusingly, I guess Cookie thinks he should be getting revenge, so he ends up pranking Evelyn, but it's sad because obviously she admits she has feelings for him, and oh, awkward moment. She gets water balloons on her. Oh my gosh, their relationship is insane when you think about it.
I learned something today too. Revenge is bad. And you like me, remember?
Like, at first I was like, oh, it's like Josh and Mindy, but Josh and Mindy didn't attack each other during the school day. Meanwhile, Moze's whole subplot is about revenge as well. Basically, this girl from the other volleyball team is on their team, planning on, like, sabotaging them, but she didn't think it through well enough. Oh my god, that's so funny. By the end, basically, Moze points out to her that, like, she's sabotaging her own team by coming to Polk Middle School and playing for their team. Like, that's crazy. Why is she even doing that? Yeah, this is a fun episode. I feel like the gimmick of Ned being the Revenger is actually really funny, and everybody turning on him by the end, kind of sad, actually.
No more rope traps, tape webs, wet pants. Most importantly, no more the Revenger.
Then we get the school records episode. Oof, gosh, if I had to remember school records, it feels like our reputation was always on the line. Like, if you made one mistake, it would follow you for the rest of your life. And honestly, it's kind of true. That definitely does happen still for adults nowadays. So Ned is being told that he has a really bad record in the eyes of the school board, which isn't super surprising because he's done bowling in the hallways, he's set tables to collapse, which, yeah, we just saw the Revenger episode where he actually bullied like 20 different kids.
What did I do that was so bad?
Let's see. Misuse of cans for the canned food drive. 10 instances of the Ned Bigby classic, The Collapsing Tape. And who can forget what brought you here today?
There we have it, everybody. I think Ned is the real bully in this whole show. The moral of the story is also the tip is that when you do good things can happen, which kind of reminds me of the premise of the TV show My Name is Earl. Not sure if you heard about that, but it's like all about karma. The main character does something wrong, so he spends his life trying to make it better. It's a really cute show, and it's funny that Ned is like playing that as a trope and having Ned undo all his like past issues. And yeah, Cookie's involvement is kind of crazy, and by the end of the episode, you kind of hate Vice Principal Krubbs a little bit more because it turns out he doesn't get rid of his permanent record. It does follow Ned to high school, and he's just like, oh, I'm accepting that. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a win on Ned's end, but he's happy, so I guess that's enough. The next episode is called Guide to the Library, and it is reaffirmed my concern with how much they fit into one episode of this show. Like, these retrospectives feel like they are for a 20-minute episode, although these Ned's episodes are done in 11 minutes. It's crazy, but they have like 20 locations, like the plots go super quick. It feels like their content is the amount of a full TV show. It is stressful to report on this because it's like, this means I have 40 episodes instead of 20. I'm not going to concern you guys all with this, but it is crazy how much Ned's happens in a single episode of Ned's.
And Bigby, you owe me the Total Wimps Guide to Kung Fu, volumes 1, 2, and 3. The books kids take out really says something about them.
When we're talking about Guide to the Library, that's exactly what I get from the experience also. So it's introducing a new location, the library, as we all had in middle school, a new character, the librarian, and we kind of get into the whole character of it all, where basically Cookie and Ned have suffered a late fee, haven't turned in their books, and the librarian is essentially really aggressive about it with a accordion. So Ned and Cookie swear that they did not forget to turn their books in. Like, this is not an issue. So it becomes this whole, like, murder mystery, I swear. They're tracing exactly what happened to their books, and it gets traced back to Loomer, and there's, like, a whole political system of it all.
I suppose you don't know where they are, but I bet you do.
No, but for a small fee, I'm sure we can find your wimpy Kung Fu books.
Gordy gets a hold of all of this, the janitor. He helps Ned and Cookie, and they get into disguises, ready to pull the information out of Billy Loomer, because apparently he's the one in charge of this whole heist. So yeah, dressed as like a matador, a bear, and I don't know what Ned is supposed to be. They trace everything back to Billy Loomer, and it's crazy because it's like now 2 adults are involved. The librarian, Gordy, like, are we gonna do something for real about all this?
Of course he's smart. He's been in the library every day for the past 2 weeks, reading like a crazy person.
They corner Billy in the art room, and only to find out that, yes, this was him, and he's, like, not caught, technically. Like, I don't know, the fact that Billy's, like, not actually saying it's his fault, but everybody's accusing him, oh, that's crazy to me. What a dramatic episode. See how I was, like, saying, like, there's so much that happens in these episodes sometimes? Like, then everybody's looking throughout the school to find the books, to find proof as to how Billy possibly have pulled this off. So that's still the mystery going on. Meanwhile, Moze's part's not as fun. She basically wants to borrow a book and a little girl's already reading it, so she's trying to coerce her into giving it back. It's kind of intense when you think about it. She's like befriending the kid only to intentionally leave her when this is done. And there's like a little heartfelt moment where like that's what the girl realizes is happening, and nobody is better at the end of that episode, I guess. By the end, it turns out that the library information is what solves the crime. They end up following the Dewey Decimal System, right? Because that's what the code is. And they find the books exactly where they were lost, exactly where Billy hid them, and he gets in trouble. The end. The tips in this are: don't wait to go to the library. Okay, yeah, sure. Can't find a book? Find out who has it. Yes, that is also information, I guess. And then discover new things and make new friends in the library. Okay, now it just feels like a chore list. So that's the first part. Then we have the second part, which is the volunteering episode. Mr. Wright reminds the school that they need all their volunteer hours. Like Ned, Cookie, and Moze have been using their volunteer hours to play broomball with Gordy. So they're not actually doing their work. Oh my god, they're trying to con their whole school system. That is kind of crazy.
And game over.
Once Mr. Wright realizes that they were taking advantage of the system, he expects 10 hours from each of them by tomorrow. Oh my god, that's half the day. Can you imagine? How would you explain that to your parents? Ugh, can you imagine? Oh, I don't know though. Fortunately for Cookie, Evelyn also volunteers at the school store. So both of them will be working together. Oh my gosh, what is their relationship? So they use extra hands, which is bringing back Moze, Loomer, and all of his goons, basically to team up and do all these volunteer hours. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy to think that, like, they're all on the same level when it comes to, like, disrespecting the educational system. Moze tells Loomer and his cronies to paint the wall, and she's gonna go to gardening club, but then they start a paint war. Oh my gosh, nobody's getting anything done. Meanwhile, Ned is actually going to a nursing home with some woman named June. Evelyn's scaring away all the customers with her attitude, and Cookie thinks he can do better, so he opens his own store to compete with Evelyn, and of course, these guys have to have it out for each other everywhere they go.
I'll have you know, I'm the school store's #1 seller.
That's because nobody else ever worked here.
When Moze returns, are covered in paint, and it seems like they're good for nothing. They didn't even get the job done. Meanwhile, Ned convinces June to go for a walk. Ned takes her out anyway just to have fun, and they bond. Oh, that's sweet. Ned takes her to a dodgeball game at the school, to the cafeteria for lunch. Oh my gosh, such a crazy episode. Moze and Loomer finally finish the wall. I think that's when Loomer starts to care about her because, you know, like, that's supposed to happen by the end of the season. I think Loomer and Moze might get together, but hey, put a pin in it. Keep an eye out. And yeah, so Mr. Wright and the orderly from the nursing home find Ned and June, and basically everybody gets off scot-free because they did the 10 hours, which, how did they do the 10 hours? I don't understand. There's no way with just the school-given time they could have done that. Okay, whatever. The tips of this episode were get your friends to pitch in. It'll be more fun to volunteer, okay? And then a few hours can make a big difference. Okay, yes, those are definitely lessons.
Quit your yammering and give me a good shove.
Wow, Ned's Declassified is getting intense. I'm just thinking about Cookie and Evelyn's relationship, and Moze and her relationship, Ned and Susie. Like, a lot of stuff is gonna have to go down by the end of this season. I'm gonna keep an eye out. Now, these seem like the most continuity-driven episodes, which is actually really fun to dive into, especially with my position right here. So the first part is hallways, and it feels like a stereotypical episode where a kid is given the ability to be the hall monitor. Like, for example, Ned is the hall monitor. Now he has the power to actually get anybody in trouble, including Billy Loomer, of course. His power to let, like, Moze talk to Feynman. Yeah, Feynman and Moze are together, okay. So there's a part where Cookie ends up getting trampled on the way to class and then has to come up with an idea for a hallway traffic segment, like the one on the news, and it's really funny.
And now, here's your Polk Hallway traffic update.
This is the hallway traffic man, Simon Nelson Cookie, reporting at star 55 on your cell phones.
So Mike crashes into Ned in the hallway and gets on his back about being in the way. And then they make Mike apologize. Okay, so now Ned has a bunch of groupies that he could have at his whim. Wow, Ned is crazy with power this season, guys. I don't know how to get over it. So Seth gives Ned basketball tickets for not getting him in trouble, and then he starts getting other things from people, and oh my gosh, this is insane. Moze gets trampled by the reverse commute on her way to see Feynman, and we get a little bit of advice about the reverse commute. And she doesn't really get to her locker on time, so Ned is playing hockey in the hallway, and mad with power. Meanwhile, Moze is trying to get Feynman quicker by going through the air vents and bypassing the hallway entirely, but winds up in the main office and gets busted by Krubs. So Ned is trying to enforce the hallway rules, but nobody's actually taking him seriously. They even end up throwing a party? Oh my gosh. Moze has Cookie send out a fake traffic report so that he'll clear the halls for Moze to get to Feynman. And oh my gosh, it's so crazy how much power these kids have in this show. I can't believe how smart they are. The crowd of students crashes the hallway party, and Moze gets to Feynman's locker on time, great. But Sweeney comes back, sees him in the hallway, and he admits to Krubs that he put Ned in charge so he could go home and watch DVDs. Oh my gosh. Krubs puts Ned and Sweeney on hallway duty. Okay, crazy turnaround with the teacher here. So the tips were to be aware of the reverse commute and find alternative routes if you have a reverse commute. What the heck? Oh, then the next episode we have is called Friends Moving, which is really depressing to hear. After Ned's brief stunt as a hall monitor, he carries a pillow around and softens the blow whenever he gets crashed to in the halls. Moze is happy that Feynman's English is getting better, but then he says he's going to be moving back to Brazil. Ned suggests that Feynman
stay. Talk to Feynman and find out why he's moving. That's the first step.
Ned suggests to ask Feynman why he's moving. Feynman tells Moze he doesn't know why his parents want him, but they're just gonna come at 11 to talk to him and Krubs and get him taken out of school. Oh my gosh. So Ned and Moze work together to figure out what's going on in that meeting. Lisa tells Cookie she's so sad he's moving. Oh my gosh, wait, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, so Evelyn tries to go out with Cookie, but Cookie's like, no, I can't, I'm moving.
But I can't go out with you. I'd love to, but I can't.
Why not?
Because I'm moving.
And then Lisa believes that's actually happening. And of course, Cookie doesn't tell her because he likes all the free time with her, so they start hanging out more often. Oh my gosh, Cookie is a player.
Let's skip math today and have big Hawaiian send-off party for Simon.
But if you insist.
When Feynman's parents arrive, Moze gets random people to say hi to Feynman, making it seem like he has a lot of friends there. So Ned lures Krubs out of the office so Gordy could sit there and pose as Krubs and actually convince Feynman's parents to let him stay. Oh, that's very sweet that they got Gordy to do that. Cookie goes to Ned for help about his lie about him moving away, and Ned tells him to tell them that his dad decided not to take the job. But then Cookie can't do it.
Let's dance!
And Gordy actually convinces Feynman's parents to let him stay, until Krubs comes back and catches them. Meanwhile, Evelyn crashes the party and reveals to everybody that Cookie isn't moving, and Cookie tries to backtrack and say that his dad turned down the job in Hawaii, but there's no job. He's trapped, which is so funny. It's like he's enjoying himself so hard and then just told the truth. Krubs explains to Feynman's parents that Feynman isn't depressed, he's in love. Oh, Krubs says that taking Feynman out of school would make him sad for real. Whoa, that's dark. And as well as Moze. Feynman's parents meet Moze and they approve and decide to keep Feynman at Polk, which is actually really sweet. Unfortunately, there's gonna be a big bully coming in the way, Ned Bigby. No, just kidding. Or am I guess? Now, everybody hates Cookie for lying, but Evelyn repeats that the friendship ring from earlier, he's her friend now. I guess that's a really sweet moment.
I'm moving.
Is this because of the pillow? Take it. Throw it away. The pillow's dead.
Not out of our locker. Out of the state.
Susie breaks the news to Ned that she's going to be moving out of state so that she and the rest of her family can be closer to her dad. Plot twist. Oh my god, I actually forgot that this ended at the end of an episode. What the heck? Okay, this is a good time to end the video. So yeah, we had a good run for the first half of the 3rd season of Ned's Declassified. I can't believe how juicy things are getting. It's kind of scaring me because I don't remember all these details. But this is crazy. I'm scared. Yeah, Ned is definitely a bigger jerk than I realized, but it's not in poor taste. You know, he's not like intentionally bad all the time, but hey, he's not good.
Dr. Xavier!
Oh, that was hot.
Who is ready for the craziest love story ever told? Ned's Declassified feels like an educational series that fully breaks into full-on kissing. The love story between Ned and Moze has so many more twists and turns than you could possibly have remembered. And the build up to the series finale is just crazy how detailed they get. But let's break down everything you forgot about the 3rd season of Ned's Declassified. I covered the first part in a video before this, and I'll cover the finale in the video after this, but this is really the juice of the love story.
Simon, is that you?
No. See ya.
Ned and Moze not only kiss, they get full-on in a relationship, out of a relationship, moving. There's just so much to unpack here. So let's get into it. Season 3, episode 12. So you remember how they're usually in 2 parts, like there's 2 10-minute quote-unquote episodes to make up one normal production episode. Well, this one uses it to its advantage, and I love it when TV shows do that. Like, that's gotta be like a really creative move on the writer's part to somehow make a storyline that like complements itself through 2 episodes that are separate. It's called Boys and then Girls. Each individual episode gets its own 10 minutes. This is the best gender-bent episode of any teen show I think I've ever seen. And no, it's not just Cookie wearing a wig and calling himself Simone for literally like 50 different episodes. Now keep in mind, this takes place right after Susie Crabgrass moves away. Ned and Susie just started dating.
Teeth clean, see?
Things are getting serious with them, and she moved away. It was pretty quick. Now, because of Susie leaving, Ned is super depressed.
I need tips. Who cares about tips?
And he says he's never gonna write a tip ever again. So Cookie, Coconut Head, and Martin take Ned out for a day with the men, kind of like a boys' night type episode, which is actually really funny considering they can never leave the bounds of the school. Like, I can't believe they're able to make this work somehow. Ned says that he and Susie were supposed to go to the Rose Garden over the weekend, but cries out, then she moved.
Susie like flowers. And Jim. In the air.
He's thinking about Susie!
Cookie decides the best way to take his mind off Susie is to go to like a manly place, which is the gym. Unfortunately, it's been taken over by the gardening club. So Moze is approached by Evelyn because she's having boy trouble. Guess who with? Haha, Cookie.
That you come on too strong.
I do not come on strong!
Yeah, Cookie and Evelyn are an interesting relationship while Cookie has been pursuing Lisa Zemo, you know, the nerd-turned-hot girl of the Ned's Declassified universe. Evelyn has been crushing on Cookie. Like, she tried to kiss him, and he pretty much rejected her, told her he was moving away, which was actually kind of rude of him. But yeah, he's been dodging her every chance he gets, and I guess she could pick up on that. This show has so many relationship complications for a 10-minute episode, like, I don't even know how to get into it. So yeah, Moze tells her she's coming on too strong, and Evelyn is like, please teach me everything you know about boys, and everybody thinks Moze is like super smart because she hangs out around Ned and Cookie all the time. I don't get it because they're not popular, like nobody views them as actual people. Like they're so unpopular, they don't really fall into the regular zeitgeist, so I don't know why everybody's giving Moze credit for being friends with them. So they get all the boys to try to get Ned to smash a fruit, and Ned just doesn't make any effort. And Cookie steps in with like a really dramatic speech.
You're smashing fruit today because deep beneath that crushed heart is my best friend who told me I can survive anything, and so can you.
And actually gets him to hit it, which is funny. It reminds me of those like old classic movies where they're like, you have to get out your anger. feel your emotions through physical activity. That's exactly what's going on here. They keep trying to get Ned to write tips, but he just still doesn't want to do it.
He hasn't smiled in 3 days, and he stopped writing tips.
Meanwhile, Moze starts a full-on business trying to teach women about boys, and the gardening club ends up jumping in to be a part of it, which is so crazy. So next thing you know, everybody is listening to Moze.
And the same goes for the boy who likes computers.
Then they have an idea to cheer Ned up by tricking Sweeney. They put $5 on the floor and then roll it down on a piece of string, which is so cartoony of them. Oh my gosh.
Nothing like a little teacher torture to bring back Neddy's smile.
And then he ends up falling through the window, which is just downright absurd. This show is just going off the rails at some point. Sweeney decides to help because he realizes that Ned can't figure out his tips, which is actually a really sweet direction for the teacher to go. Like, he actually is going to try to help Ned keep doing his tips. Then in Moze's class, she encourages the girls to find common interests with guys, which is actually really good advice. They get impatient and start asking her about kissing them, and it's like, I don't think teenage girls were like that at the time. So the boys use the gardening club's float for Arbor Day to take Ned on a trip of tipness past. Oh my gosh, and this is when it gets really creative. They like recreate parts of Ned's discovery of the guide and like his 6th grade experience, which is actually really profound. I don't know why we got It's a Wonderful Life or A Christmas Carol going on in here.
Play along. We worked hard on this.
But that's kind of relevant. I like how we're actually like seeing how he's actually helped people, showing that like the deed he did was pretty good, like having tips for everybody. I don't know why. That's like a really good thing.
Gave up on the guide forever and created a tipless future.
Giant monkeys, come on!
Well, it could happen.
And like I said, I can't believe they fit so much stuff into these 10-minute episodes. Like, we just saw Ned go through like 10 different scenes of depression and having a boys' night, and suddenly he's like going through the entire plot of an old movie. Like, how in the world did they fit that in? I can't believe these guys like did the production of a full-length show but only fit it into 10 minutes. It's insane to me. But definitely good for kids' attention spans. I remember like really missing all of these jokes like that. Which is funny because like that's kind of how Family Guy thrives. Like, they're so fast-paced and they have so many jokes. So in the end, Ned finally has an idea for a tip, and it turns out he's cured. He's no longer depressed. It only took him 1 day to get over Susie moving. No, just kidding. It's not that simple, but you know what I mean. And the girls in Moe's class cling to the boys who were riding the float, and Coconut Head said they need tips about girls, which actually leads us to the second segment of this 2-part episode. So part 2 is just called Girls. After the whole crazy Boys Day Out episode, they just continue right where they left off, kind of like that Halloween episode I was telling you about earlier this season. Ned's anxious for Susie to call him once she gets settled into the new place. I guess they're doing long distance. He realizes that he actually has no tips on girls.
If you're a guy who wants to know about girls and what makes them tick, check out these tips. I don't have any tips on girls.
And that's kind of where the episode's plot kicks in, which is actually really interesting. Cookie tries to help, but Evelyn scares him into walking her to class. So Evelyn just bullies Cookie throughout this episode. She tries to be polite, but she just keeps yelling. Like, she's trying to take Moze's advice from earlier, which is fun that, like, they connected that too. Cookie admits that he's clueless as well and needs tips. Moze keeps offering this episode to help Ned and like give him advice that he could write down in his book about girl advice, and Ned keeps rejecting her. And he goes to Gordy for girl advice. Like, can you imagine going to Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents for girl advice? I don't know. I mean, he did keep a girl for like thousands of years. You know what? Never mind. I would go to Cosmo for girl advice.
I was talking about Gordy. He is a genius.
So Moze wrote a couple tips for Ned, who takes them to heart and decides to join choir and meet somebody new. He bumps into Cookie, who's dressed as Simone, which is so funny. I love it when he does this, but it's crazy how many times he does it. Like, I never remembered it being this amount.
I want you to sing the first thing that comes to your heart. Ladies first.
Ave Maria.
So when Simone sings in the choir, her voice is super deep, and Cookie can't even, like, disguise it. And then Mr. Combover, the guy with the really crazy hair, thinks Simone looks very familiar, but can't even say anything more about it. Oh my gosh, come on. Throughout this episode, Ned keeps getting signs that Moze is the one for him, which is crazy.
And I'll know when I see her, because golden light will hit her just right, and the angels will sing.
Oh, please.
She's also getting signs that maybe Ned and her might be a good connection, which is funny because they're actually exploring all these tips that are pretty relevant to the other person. It almost feels like a sex ed class in a way. Moze asks him for what he looks for in a girl, and he lists a few traits, and it just happens to be her. Oh my gosh. A light shines on Moze, and the chorus sings, and it's this constant, like, these guys keep coming back, and it's so funny. Then at lunch, Cookie, as Simone, tries to approach Lisa and accidentally bumps into Loomer's motorcycle. Next thing you know, Loomer is frustrated, wants advice about girls because he actually likes Simone. Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's like you know how guys think and what they like.
Well, I'm a complex individual.
You're special, and I want to get to know the real you.
No, you don't. Trust me.
Yeah, Loomer is obsessed with Simone throughout this episode, and it is just the best part of the show. So Cookie keeps using all the info he gets from Simone and applying it back to Lisa's emo, which is so creepy when you think about it. Moze tells Ned that she's got him dates with several other girls, which, oh my god, Moze, you should know that, like, he hasn't talked to Susie yet. This is why... gosh, never mind.
I like kissing boys.
So Ned's like speed dating all these girls, and they definitely like don't work out for him. Meanwhile, he still doesn't really know where he stands with Susie. Like, they didn't break up or anything, so I don't get why nobody's like saying anything about this. Ned keeps saying his perfect girl is Susie, and oh my gosh, this is like such the beginning of the Ned and Moze love story that it's about to get real. Cookie ends up seeing Loomer crying over Simone, so he ends up being nice and giving him his shoe.
I ran into Simone before she left. She wanted me to give you these.
I don't even know what to make of this. Ned and Cookie talk about how, like, speed dating when Ned says he'll see the perfect girl when he does. And, of course, it just happens to be a moment that the choir's not actually there, the wind isn't actually going, he just has a crush on Moze.
And I got the choir back in the music room.
Why are you looking at me like that?
And then, literally by the end of the episode, Susie calls him. Oh my gosh. There's so many tips throughout both of these. I can't even tell you if they're relevant. We got one is stuck on a project, take a break or take a ride, which is from the boys episode, which I don't know how that's helpful, but okay. And then never sit around and be bummed. Go out and have fun. Oh my gosh. Don't have mental health. Just go out and ignore it. That's what I hear. This one's a little bit better, the girls one. It says, girls, they wear shoes on their feet and spell nice. Oh my gosh. And they erased the tip in the episode, thank God.
Great. But there's one thing you forgot, Girl Tip Master.
What?
But then they have be honest and be yourself around girls. When around girls, listen more, talk less. That's actually a really good one. I'm glad that they incorporated that. And then no fart or anything around girls. Oh, okay, fair. And then get involved in activities that girls like. Okay, yeah, see, that's cool. That's definitely how you get to know girls. In this day and age, I feel like that would come across as creepy, but I think that's some genuine advice. Like, if you want to get to know somebody, you should just get involved in the things they are interested in. I mean, what's wrong with that? Then the next episode, we actually continue from the one before this. So even though Ned is having feelings toward Moze and starting to see all these signs point to her, he is still very much in a relationship with Susie, and Susie has started to call him again. That's why this episode's called Cell Phones. Oh my gosh, see, this is the most topical modern episode that I think we've had thus far, which is kind of cool because this was way long ago. What, like 2008? Like, we were talking about cell phones? Now we're living cell phones.
So that's good. That's very good.
So, are you in class yet?
Class hasn't started yet.
So yeah, Ned puts together a schedule for how him and Susie can talk over the phone, which is so funny. Long distance relationships must have got so much more prominent as social media just like became more advanced. You know, like it's easier to contact people from other states and everything. Like that's a very like relevant to the time experience. Moze gets a new, more advanced phone because she's tired of having this old phone in school, which is so in her character. I don't know why. I feel like Moze would have an Android if this were current time. Like, that's just what she would do. She gets like a 200-minute plan for it, but she doesn't want her cell phone to take over her life, so she kind of limits it for herself. Meanwhile, Cookie wears a jacket with 33 cell phones attached to it in hopes of winning a sports car for this radio contest. And I remember this episode really well for some reason. I just remember like him having these cell phones in class and going overboard with this, which is super funny.
Simon Nelson comes from Polk Middle School!
Awesome! So, you're a teacher then?
No, I'm a student!
Great, but you gotta be 18 to play by.
So Susie calls Ned just as he's walking into science class and keeps getting him in trouble for answering the phone, which I don't know why she gets mad every single time, as if she doesn't understand that you're in school, like you can't just talk on the cell phone willy-nilly, and she takes it as rude and keeps thinking that Ned is hanging up on her all the time. Oh my gosh. And there's a bunch of miscommunications where she thinks Ned is saying like, I want to break up! Inevitably, Susie even hears that he's breaking up with her, when really he's just talking about the cell phone reception, and then his phone is taken away. Oh my god, I got so much major anxiety when I'm like even experiencing this. This is so real. See, this is one of the things where it's like parents nowadays would never get this. That's how they're left out. Oh, and then Moze puts Feynman's number as her #1 speed dial. You know, uses this to kind of define herself, which is, for real, like, I definitely feel like I was doing that at this age. Like, who was your first contact? And hers wants to be Feynman, but Martin puts his name in her phone and then starts talking to her on the phone by accident. And then she doesn't notice that they have a phone call, and he starts talking to her without stopping talking, which is so funny, and then uses up all her minutes, which he should have class. I don't know why this doesn't actually affect him in any way. Ned gets his phone back from Sweeney, and Cookie calls him from the bathroom asking Ned to bring him a cushion and some snacks. So Ned goes to Cookie and asks for one of his phones, which is obvious, and he refuses, so Ned just takes one of them. They fight over it, and then they end up in Sweeney's classroom.
They're a nuisance and only should be used for emergencies.
But this is an emergency.
So it's like all these trouble with phones throughout this entire thing. It's so funny. Ned then gets Moze to help him and Cookie break into Sweeney's room and get back all the cell phones. Ooh, a little heist movie. Wow, see what I'm saying when I say like all these episodes go to like 50 places? This feels like a 2-hour movie. The announcer tells them that he has to be 18 or older to play when he wins the car. And oh, poor Cookie. Sweeney manages to get him in and tells him that they'll decide their punishment later. After Moze gets her phone back, she only has 3 minutes left. And, you know, since Ned's having an emergency, she gives it to him, which is actually really sweet. Another reason she's the one to be with. But her phone battery dies right before Ned can, like, fully explain himself, and Susie is just like, okay, we're over. And that's kind of how the episode ends.
One last cell phone tip. Charge up every night, because you never want a dead battery during an emergency.
Turns out Sweeney wins the whole competition and drives off with the prize car, which is actually so funny. Come on, that's so rude. I wish he would at least, like, give Cookie some credit. The tips in this one are never look at your phone when you should be looking at someone else. Okay, fair. Because you never want a cell phone breakdown during an emergency, which, whew, these tips are actually pretty relevant. I can't believe they came up with this. Okay, then the next episode is called Wood Shop, which I was surprised they even, like, delved into this topic. So Ned starts making his own art project in Wood Shop for Susie. It's like, I guess they're still together despite all the miscommunications. And, yeah, so he's just trying to get her a present. Meanwhile, this kind of changes as he starts to think that Moze is attracted to him. This is more so a Moze point of view episode, but Ned has some pretty important parts where he's debating if he has a crush on Moze. So the whole situation is that Moze is making something in Wood Shop that neither Cookie nor Ned know what it is. So Ned kind of insists that it might be about him, and that, like, maybe she's just admitting liking Ned. Oh my god, whoa, that's crazy.
Hey, look, you've been talking about this for a long time. You can do it.
What if he doesn't like me?
He's gonna...
So yeah, Ned is, like, really nervous about this. He tries to go to Gordy for girl advice again. I don't know why the janitor would have the girl advice. And he's trying to figure out, like, what he should do. Like, is he over Susie? Is he going to pursue Moze? Like, he actually takes this really seriously, which is pretty important to the plot. There's, like, a third B plot where Cookie finds this chop saw that is apparently alive. So he sees it in a cage and it makes like all these growling noises, and Cookie just like runs away from it the whole time. It becomes a full-on horror movie with Cookie trying to get help from the guidance counselor, and even that not going well. Like,
the saw is not a she. It's just a plain, dumb, ugly saw. A poorly designed, overpriced hunk of plastic and...
Him and the guidance counselor are just at the helm of this chop saw, which turns out to not actually be possessed or anything. It's just bad on batteries or something, which is kind of crazy. I just had to get this whole plot out of the way because it's just not relevant to the rest. So yeah, on the B plot, there's so many moments where we think Moze and Ned are like trying to get closer to each other, and it's just like one of those fake out episodes where it just never quite happened.
I think once I sand him down and give him a good shellacking, he'll love it.
He might.
Gordy ends up talking to Moze, thinking it's about Ned, but it's just a competition as well, and it sounds so awkward out of context, but it's hilarious. That's like one of my favorite jokes in the series. In the end, they actually have somebody come in to check out the rocking chair when Ned thinks it's for him, and he actually commits to being with her. He's like, okay, I think I'm ready to accept this gift, which is a big step for him that we do not talk about, and he just throws it away when he realizes that she's focused on the competition. So she explains everything that was going on, which very confusing. I feel like she definitely was giving him signs earlier. I don't know how this was misinterpreted. So the judge checks out the chair, and it actually breaks because of the chop saw that Cookie was fighting earlier. LOL, that's so funny. I love how they coincide all the plots in this 10-minute episode. Like, that's insane. And yeah, so they ruin the chair, and then Moze thinks it's Ned, and that's why she brought him flowers, which is the funniest misinterpretation, and that's literally how the episode ends. So this is only, like, scratching the surface of Ned and Moze's relationship blossoming, but you could see how the seeds have been planted, right? I'm not crazy here. And there's no tips in the woodshop episode. Interesting. Okay, I guess they're just trying to establish plot at this point.
Young love.
Take that! Oh! Yeah!
So the next episode we have is Guide to Getting Organized, which is something I was not expecting to be so late in the game. I feel like this would have been like an early season 1 endeavor. You know, like some of the basic stuff that would go on in Ned's Declassified. I also feel like that's what I was thinking this entire episode. Not necessarily like it was bad, it just felt like it was just such a generic idea. So in the episode, Ned is trying to turn in homework that he can't find, which, of course, we all relate to that. And yeah, his life is just like super frazzled and messed up. Sweeney says the quiz was a warm-up because there's a test on Friday, which is the last one before the report cards go out, which is super, super high stakes. Sweeney offers to get this organization squad, the super nerdy organizational super squad, which is Evelyn Kwong, Albert Warrenheimer, and Lance Widget, which are like 2 characters I really don't remember seeing, but I know one was in Sweet Life. And yeah, they basically help him through every aspect of his life and like small tips that'll help actually make it better, which is cool when Ned actually has to get tips from other people. I feel like it makes it more of a rounded experience.
Always have writing utensils handy. Designate specific locations for your wallet, keys, and ID card, and never spend a minute looking for them again.
Ned inevitably ends up passing the test by becoming a lot more organized and just listening out to all the nerds. And yeah, it kind of helps him get through it, which is actually really positive. I feel like the best gimmick in this whole episode is the like most unique part of this whole show in general. Like they have a bunch of workers in Ned's mind, kind of like Inside Out style, you know, that Pixar movie. And yeah, they're trying to help Ned get through the day. It also reminds me of that SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob's trying to get his mind organized, and he's like, forget about everything but fine dining and breathing.
Hello? Hello? And what are you doing in here anyway, huh?
Oh, I'm his feminine side.
No, I think you're his side, all right?
I can't believe they got like a whole cast of like new adult actors to take on this role. It's kind of crazy. Meanwhile, in the B plot, Cookie and Moze are teamed up because they really want their old Fruit Nola bars back in the vending machine. But the guy, Mr. Krabs, says no, and he's pretty insistent about it. So Mr. Powell gives them the idea to round up the group of students and start out a walkout. Oh my god, what the heck? I can't believe the old principal is still heavily involved in this.
If I were your age, I'd find a way to stick it to the man.
Yeah, all the tips in this are really relevant. And in the end, the walkout works also So Susie and Cookie end up successfully arranging that, which is actually really cool. I like that they teach you how to do a peaceful protest in this. Was not seeing that coming. The tips in this one are get rid of clutter in your backpack and locker once a week, which, okay, I definitely think you could do that if you felt like it. Always go calendar and mark down the quizzes you get, the tests and special events coming up. Yeah, that's definitely relevant. Always have writing utensils handy. Accordion folders rock, and lay out your clothes every night for one more time in the morning. See, this makes sense that we have an overabundance of tips. Like, of course that's gonna happen. Especially in an episode that could have been so, you know, like, in the first season. Everything feels like it's solved by the end. Ned gets super organized all throughout his mind. Like, even the adults in Ned's mind start helping organize everything. Like, it's a very positive outcome, but it's just like real life where it's like, just because he fixed it in his mind doesn't mean it's solved as a problem. A virus comes in and gives all the people in Ned's brain a lot more to deal with, and that's where the episode ends, which is kind of funny because the next episode, part 2, extra credit, actually takes from where that left off. So Ned has even more tests to accomplish. With anything, it's actually, he has more credit he has to get in order to pass the grade, which is actually kind of cool. I like that the stakes are super high.
Anything I can do to pull my grade up to a B- really fast before report cards come out next week?
Extra credit.
And this is about actually, like, taking your grade and bring it to the next level. So all the teachers say he's gonna get a C+, and they all sign him an extra credit project. Ned wants to take advantage of this and actually make a project that can combine all 4 subjects he has to finish for. Meanwhile, Moze is bringing her volcano to Sweeney's class only to see that everybody has made an extra credit.
What if it were bigger? What if I took the extra credit volcano to the next level?
Oh my gosh, and she just has to go the extra mile and feels like she needs to get the better grade. So she decides to do something even more intense. She gets Gordy's help to build something even bigger. So Moze ends up taking concrete from a construction site on campus to use for our volcano, which is not safe.
Moze, that would mean knocking out an entire section of the 2nd floor. I mean, isn't that a little severe?
I'll tell you what's severe.
Meanwhile, Cookie orders a super large pizza for the cafeteria, and Ned realizes this is exactly what he wants to do for his project, by combining all projects, by combining all subjects.
The perfect storm of extra credit.
And of course, Gordy helps knock out the 2nd floor. This does not end up working out for her in the end, by the way. They end up getting the main furnace up into the volcano to get actual heat, and of course...
Hey! You can't stand the heat! Get out of my extra credit volcano!
We see Ned bring his project to Mr. Powell and iTeacher, who both grade it really well. The Dr. Xavier claimed that Ned made it for their class, and everybody suddenly is getting messed up about the situation.
Oh. No, you made that for me!
So in the end, Claire Sawyer comes in to defend Ned, which is a really good solution, saying that there's no rule in Polk against making one project for 4 subjects, which I consider, yeah, that's actually kind of a genius situation. You guys can't deny Ned at this point. Moze ends up getting an A+ as soon as she gives him the written part, and that's like one of the tips is that like the written part is just as important, which I would always forget. Yeah, so the tips in this one are just ask your teachers for extra credit. Definitely not something teachers would always just give out willy-nilly. Oh, and then don't forget the written part. So the tips in this episode are actually pretty helpful. The next episode we have is fundraising, and I thought this was just going to be like a generic, easy episode where it's like, oh, they're going door-to-door sales, like doing something like that. But no, the plot is that they get a bunch of candy bars. There's a golden ticket in one of them that apparently has access to a TV. Oh my gosh, what a bad idea. That is like the equivalent to a golden ticket, honestly. Like, why would I want to go to a chocolate factory when I could just get a golden TV? Like, that would be insane. So yeah, Cookie and Ned end up eating all of them themselves.
We were thinking he'd take the TV and I'd take the video game system. Well, you better start thinking about when my gym equipment arrives on Friday.
And honestly, that's a good plan. Like, I feel like the TV would be worth more than the chocolate bars, so why not do that anyway? But the entire episode is them trying to make up for the fact they lost all that money. These guys are so bad with money. It's been more than one occasion that this has come up. Even for teen sitcoms, like, I just watched an episode of Life with Derek, just an episode with Unfabulous. Like, I can't believe all the shows do this money bit.
Not a good idea to hold the carnival in the science room.
Bigby!
That window is gonna cost you $45.
And when it doesn't work out, they find themselves having to pay off a debt that they made earlier. So it's kind of like this chain of unfortunate events. But I always love that in comedy. They end up even like collecting money for smashing a fake car.
Ooh, in fact, I'll call my old buddy Mr. Auto Shop teacher and have him send over a junker.
But then it turns out to be Principal Krub's actual car. Oh my god, that's when it gets like so crazy. So they just owe people more and more. And then by the end of it, they ask them to do them a big favor and be in their fundraising idea to have sponges thrown at them. And that's kind of a good way to end it. Like, you just have to do a little bit of manual labor to pay everybody back. But like, considering these kids just destroyed this guy's car, I feel like Krubs would need time to get over this.
Fundraising is tough. I remember I used to have the door slammed in my face all the time, even when I wasn't selling stuff.
But hey, you know, they're good teachers, they're good people, so they come in and help Ned, Cookie, and all them out. Meanwhile, the B-plot is Moze trying to do a good job at this, being a tryhard, and Gordy consistently trying to buy a chocolate bar from her. She's like on her last chocolate bar and cannot sell it for the life of her, which is actually so funny. And she will not let Gordy buy it from her. She's like, no, you're my friend. I don't want that to happen. It's like, come on. She's just so scared of being involved in a pyramid scheme. She will not sell chocolate to a janitor. Like, so disrespectful.
I guess we're not friends anymore.
I guess we're not friends!
Good, I'd like to buy one chocolate bar, please.
Thank you!
The advice in this one are use inexpensive or used prizes and ask local businesses to donate. Okay, that's actually a pretty good idea. We used to have to do that for the school play. You would like go to people, sell ads, and like make up enough money to prove your worth. I don't know. Now that I think about it, it's kind of sad. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's just teaching kids like entrepreneurship and selling stuff. It's a fun feeling. And then another tip is if it's a fundraiser, people will pay to play. Okay, true. Don't get bored and make fundraising. Okay, so like make it more fun. I can't believe we couldn't just say that. The next episode's actually really fun. It's called Competition, and it reminds me a lot of like reality game shows that were going on at the time, like Survivor. This one specifically is definitely The Amazing Race.
The big continent competition.
It's all about competition and like how to play dirty versus play honest. It's a really good tip-related episode. And Missy makes another guest appearance, like she becomes Ned's close partner for this and is the one that pressures him to be doing the wrong thing. She makes it more romantic than anything else, which I don't think girls were that devious at this age, really. Like, they weren't just manipulating you to date you. Like, what the heck? Meanwhile, in the B-plot, Cookie is trying to get better at salsa dancing because he wants to impress Lisa Zemo, be her partner. And yeah, so Gordy is the one who helps him. He used to be a dance instructor. The whole episode, Ned is trying to be honest and above the negative traits that come with being in a competition like this, but Missy keeps playing dirty and makes him look worse. Ned and Missy end up losing, and she's like really angry about it, but you know, like he did the morally right thing to do.
I can't win like this.
I can. Let's go.
Nope.
No! Get your cute butt across the finish line.
So he feels good at the end of it, but wow, dragging Missy into this whole thing. In the end, they have a note that's don't enter a competition if you're not ready, which I think you could do more with this advice column. Like, the way that they all acted in this episode because of competition was crazy, but hey, let's not acknowledge that. I'm just glad we got a break from this drama going on with Ned and Moze. The next episode is Guide to Making New Friends, which actually would be really relevant in this post-COVID time. In this one, it's all of them have an interest in getting to know somebody a little bit more. And I love this plot. It's very sweet.
We can hang out, and it's free.
Like, the intentions everybody has to come in are great. We do get a lot more Ned and Moze drama because Ned's whole plot is he has to get close to Feynman for the respect of Moze because, I don't know, they're friends, so Moze wants him to approve of it. Her insistence on getting Ned's approval is definitely curious to me.
So I need you guys to be friends. But we don't have anything in common.
You can't find a better potential friend than Fame and Fortune. He's perfect.
And Feynman really doesn't like Ned. We keep getting a bunch of examples of why this is, and I kind of agree with him. Ned is a jerk sometimes. I feel like you don't realize your main character is a jerk until they have other characters like pointed out to them.
I liked you. I told Moze I liked you when I didn't. We do have something in common.
We're both liars.
It kind of reminds me of like Brian Griffin from like Family Guy. Like they just kind of call him out for being a jerk. And yeah, that's just kind of what I'm seeing go on here. Moze's whole plot is she has no girlfriend. She wants to go to the spa. Ned and Cookie don't want to go. And it's kind of sad because it's like, these guys are all each other's best friends. I don't think you need to make new friends just specifically to do these activities. Ned literally tries to get on Feynman's good side the whole time, so there's a lot of good intentions there, but it just ends up looking more and more shallow and honestly calculated, so Ned is really not doing a good job. Gordy isn't a lot of help because he's focused on the weasel in this episode, which it's been a while since that.
My pin! You found it! You caught the weasel!
And every time Ned tries to embarrass Feynman, he ends up coming out on top and looking even better than before. Oh gosh, these series of events going on to Ned are always so consistent with like this rule of 3. I don't know why, I just can't get over it. So Moze tries to connect with Missy, which given what happened last episode is not a good idea. But hey, like this actually looks like a good idea for a friendship.
I'll meet you after school.
Why not?
I like that Moze is giving it a chance. She like takes it super seriously. It's like not easy to do stuff like that, especially in social situations. So I have a lot of respect for it. The tips in this are like, want to make new friends, rule out weasels, which is, I guess that's their way of getting Gordy to have a tip in there, but I don't really need to know that. Oh, and try school clubs, new lunch tables, and intramural sports. Okay, yeah, that actually is really good tips too. Oh, and don't judge new friends too quickly. I like these plots. Ned and Feynman end up getting along, and even though Moze doesn't find herself a new girlfriend, Cookie and Ned decide to dress up as girls and go with her, which is the solution to everything. Just dress up as girls and your life problems will be solved.
I like getting my nails done.
No, you don't.
Although Ned looks surprisingly close to the girl from Unfabulous, the popular girl. I'm gonna let you guys comment below that one. How about that? Then we got positives and negatives. Okay, so this is an interesting tip episode. It's about the science, positive and negative charges and static electricity, but it comes out in a lot more personality-based ways in Ned's school.
In fact, studies have shown that having a positive outlook on life is contagious. Makes people around you feel great.
There's a new character named Mark Downer, and he's a very pessimistic, depressing guy, and his attitude rubs off on everybody. Ned is desperate not to catch his negative attitude.
Unfortunately, negative thinking is contagious too.
And he tries to like prove he could be positive, and so he starts hanging out with Mark, and then fails completely. Meanwhile, Moze's goal is to get the perfect first kiss from Feynman. It's apparently not worked out the way they've anticipated, and oof, a lot of drama with that going on for sure.
We will kiss at Sparks. We'll fly.
I don't know why this is not a step in the right direction for their love story, but Ned's just so focused on the Downer kid. He just wants the vibes to be good. And I really relate to this episode. I feel like trying to control the vibes, just making everything so positive is impossible, but people still have an urge to try to do it.
We live in a barren universe of nothingness. We do live in a barren universe of nothingness.
Well, worse than that, now when I kiss Feynman, I get hurt.
Ned hooks up pessimistic guy with another pessimistic character, like this really depressing girl, and the idea is that 2 negatives equal a positive. And in the end, it does kind of work. Like, he gets them to kiss, and everything seems okay, but then everything is set on fire.
Yeah, right now that room's basically an electrostatic time bomb.
What? Kiss me now, you perfect thing.
The setting for a big kiss has to be just right. You must hold each other as the music swells.
And let the sun hit your face as the warm wind blows.
The whole B plot is her getting the perfect experience set up, and yeah, it's just kind of crazy. We get a lot of Fabio in this episode for some reason. Oh, because he's the character in the book that the teacher's talking about. So random. He comes back in Big Time Rush later. That's how you know it's another Scott Fellows show. But everybody trying to take control of positive and negative vibes is just so funny in this, and it goes so insane over time, especially when there's an explosion at the end. Like, what? Okay, at least Mr. Sweeney got like 1 extra try.
I went with Plan Sweeney.
And since rubber doesn't conduct electricity, Mr. Cook can redirect it.
These next 2 episodes are what I consider the episodes that we have lost till time. Like, it's not like they didn't play, it's not like they didn't come out, it's not like they're banned, but these are the episodes I remember the least out of the whole third season, and they've gotten such important plot lines that I think it's kind of crazy that we didn't notice it. Looking back, I feel like a lot of people online agree with me that these episodes are almost like buried, like we did not see them, unless you have like a really good memory and you remember key moments. But like Guide to Money and Parties has a lot of crazy, intense, plot effective moments that go into it. The first part is Money, where basically Ned, Cookie, and Moze start a company together just to make money. They want to go to this concert and none of them can really afford it, so they're like, okay, let's make this company. But Moze ends up doing all the work by herself, and Cookie and Ned just have like stupid ideas that don't end up panning into anything, honestly.
Moze can direct, Ned can run sound and lights, and I'll be the star.
Give me the flyers.
They just want the short answer to get as much money as possible, which in this day and age, they would go on YouTube and create AI channels. That's what I think would happen. Meanwhile, Moze is doing the actual work and collecting real money for like babysitting and all this stuff that actually is kind of irrelevant now. I mean, Cookie's trying to figure out how to make money just through performance. Like, he's just convinced that acting and like being on stage is going to be his way into this world, which is so funny. Oh my god, they call it Fall Down Boy, the Democratic Rejects, Led Zeifer. Oh, this whole music festival is such a funny joke. I can't believe somebody like made up that in the props department.
I'll loan you the money. Just think of it as a friendly loan. Pay it back whenever.
And yeah, so Ned is stuck, enslaved to Missy this entire episode. Her bodyguards just to scare her, but Missy's pretty good at this. She's like, hey, like, you owe me interest, and like they're using the entire US money system against Ned in this episode, which is kind of crazy.
What I meant to say was I'm gonna pay you back in full. So bye.
Ned gets this like get rich quick book, which would be so something he falls for. I love that they incorporated such a real world issue, like the promise of being able to get money quickly, like so funny.
The government's paying me to eat oatmeal. Now that's easy money.
It's one of those things in life that is always going to follow you. Like, there's going to be, like, a quick and easy route, and then, like, a difficult route, and we all just like to surf down the middle. Nothing too complicated, nothing too simple. And this is all, like, in anticipation for a party that's going to happen in the next episode. By the way, oh my god, how good are they at putting 2 10-minute episodes back to back, but like weaving a similar plot into them. They're really good at that. Ned and Cookie get in a compromised situation, but Moze ends up making up so much money that she could just pay off all of their debts, which, oh gosh.
You know, if you guys had pulled your weight in the company before, you wouldn't be pulling Missy's weight now.
We were bad and lazy.
We're sorry.
That should not be something you get used to in life, guys, please. The tips in this episode are need cash fast, try babysitting, pet care, and cleaning services. Amen. That's exactly what they didn't do in this episode. Know what and when you're being paid. Okay, that's fair. I definitely think you should keep track of that stuff. And then hard work always pays off. Okay, fair. Yeah. Then the next episode is called Parties, and it's about Seth having this party in his basement. This episode is the one I do not remember at all, which is insane because it's so important. Ned and Moze kiss in this. Oh, spoiler alert, but you're gonna wait and get that information in a minute anyway. But it's important. We have to, like, talk about it. So Ned comes here with Missy. Missy basically forced Ned to ask her to Seth's party from the last episode, which is funny. It takes into here.
Ned, wanna ask me to go to Seth's party on Saturday?
Oh yeah, and then the basement that they were cleaning in the last episode, Moze, that's the party in this episode. So it's just crazy they like intersected that so well. But yeah, Ned really doesn't want to go with Missy, but hey, when he gets there, Susie Crabgrass is there, and he's trying to keep it a secret from both of them, but he really just wants to be with Susie. I wish he would just come clean, but he tries to make it work and goes from person to person, even getting Missy kicked out of the party just so he could spend time with Susie. This is like a people pleaser plot. That's essentially like his issue, is like he's just too scared to ask for what he actually wants, so he does what everybody else wants, and it is a horrible idea. Moze is getting ready to kiss Feynman at the party, which she still hasn't had like a super magical kiss yet, so that's really relevant considering the episode before that was all about trying to create that perfect moment.
Give me your special spin the bottle so I can kiss Ned. Don't freak, I just have to do a simple kiss comparison test, that's all.
And so her and Feynman are dodging each other all throughout this party all night. Oh, yeah, of course. Meanwhile, Cookie also wants to rig the game of Spin the Bottle so he could kiss Lisa Zemo. Spin the Bottle is always such a big issue at these party episodes. Like, I feel like more so in the early shows, like Unfabulous and Ned's Declassified, but, like, they definitely didn't do anything like this on Hannah Montana or Sunny with a Chance. Like, can you imagine them having, like, a Spin the Bottle type episode? It outgrew its welcome at a certain point. Cookie just can't resist. He has to dress up as Simone, literally again, just to, like, get Lisa on his side. And then he, like, tries to keep Seth away from her. Ay. Meanwhile, Ned is trying to get a slow dance with Susie, and that's actually kind of sweet. I feel like that would be very rare and not actually happen. And what is a middle school party versus a high school party? Like, this has got to be, like, the most tame experience ever. I'm surprised they even got away with this, or anybody's parents didn't question this, because that's what would have happened in 8th grade for sure.
I came here with Missy tonight. Let me in! And she tried to rescue me, and I think I need to rescue her, and I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
In the end, Ned comes clean, tells Susie about everything, and it looks like everything does work out in his favor, except for in the last moment when Ned accidentally gets there when Moze spins the bottle, and Ned ends up kissing Moze.
Moze has to kiss Ned.
Luckily, there's a huge fire that happens from Cookie's wig, and everybody has to run out of the basement. But, yeah, Ned and Moze just kissed. Ned didn't tell Susie or Missy, so this guy's a full-on player, and Moze just cheated on Feynman. But we're just not going to talk about it, because it was part of a game of Spin the Bottle. Okay, yeah. So who remembers that moment? Because that's extremely important, and I don't recall this at all. When I watched this again, my jaw dropped. I forgot it even went this far. This is crazy. The tips in this are dress nicely, but be yourself. Okay, why is that a but? Keep your breath fresh and avoid stinky foods. Okay, I think that's in terms of kissing. And then get Missy thrown out. Why would that tip ever apply to me in my regular life, guys? This is ridiculous.
Okay, giggle all you want to, people, but you won't be laughing when your hormones rage and you have mood swing, body odors, and that embarrassing edge.
Name, Ned Bigby. Health problem, embarrassing edge.
The Spring Fever episode of Ned's Declassified is really cool because it's talking about how the weather affects our moods, essentially, and as a big mental health advocate, I really like topics like this. Not to sound like a nerd, but it's really interesting. It's centered around Mr. Sweeney's science class, and Ned and the other kids begging to go outside if class outside, and, of course, Principal Krubbs thinks this is a sin and tapes up the doorways, which, by the way, can't be legal. I feel like you can get that confused with, like, a lockdown. Dang, we should have a lockdown episode of Ned's Declassified. Where's that? So yeah, each of the characters essentially have a plot that can only be solved by going outside. Like, Cookie and Lisa Zemo finally have a day together, but she's having bad allergies. So even though Cookie wanted to be with her, now she's back to her former self, and that bothers him, which is insanely shallow, Cookie. Come on. So the whole episode is him avoiding her because she's gross, quote unquote. Feynman and Moze are dealing with the aftermath of Moze's kiss with Ned, which, by the way, is cheating, and I guess we just don't talk about that fact. Yeah. So Moze is super conflicted, and it comes out a lot in this episode, despite the fact that she had made a decision already. But hey, you know, they just kissed. Obviously, that's going to be a big deal. And this episode gets really fun and wacky because it's just Ned trying to escape the school. So we have a lot of really funny montage beats of, like, him trying to do that and everybody watching. Meanwhile, Krubbs is, like, at the corner of every door all the time. Kind of makes me nervous, honestly. The episode ends in a sweet way, so, like, Ned and the other students basically use science against Mr. Sweeney, saying, like, it's logically, like, a better idea to be outside during class, which is really cool that they have all these good points.
It's important to build strong bones and teeth.
Yeah! Yes, I knew that.
And you know how quickly the weather patterns change. So do you want to deny the most complex life form what it needs to survive?
So Sweeney ends up standing up for himself in front of Krubbs and being like, no, we're having school outside today, which is actually really sweet. Good ending for this one. Pretty much every character shares a kiss once they're finally able to get outside, which is really angsty. I guess at the end of 8th grade, you're super rearing to get in relationships now because this is getting crazy. This middle school has become completely upside down. The tip in this episode is to have spring fever, asked to have class outside, which I don't know if you could just do that, but hey, middle school is a different beast.
Hi, everybody! I'm back from my year of living with the penguins.
The next episode is kind of revolved around a teacher. So Mr. Monroe returns after he lived with the penguins for a year. Okay, yeah, I barely remember this character, but I also started from the 3rd season, so what should I know? And this episode is Moze and Cookie getting Ned to join the school newspaper. It's interesting that Moze and Cookie like always team up for this advocate like experience. Like they both like to have a goal, go achieve it, and it's against like some bigger entity. I didn't realize that's something they had in common. So they end up joining the school newspaper and they try to use it as a way of exposing what's been going on at the school.
Follow the maintenance budget.
What do you mean?
Just do it! I've got to get back to life science. I mean, an informant's convention. If you need any more information, knock 4 times on room 109.
Because apparently 37 students got sick last week, and Mr. Monroe helps Ned, Moze, and Cookie get the actual information about the stories, although he kind of backs out and lets them take over. So they publish for this first issue, and the school board gets really upset, not tolerating this. And, oh, we see people in the school board. That's a lot more interesting, seeing, like, the higher-ups. I wish we could have seen, like, the social hierarchy of all the different education systems. Like, I didn't even realize they came into play that often at this age. I personally had a few run-ins with the school board when I was in high school, but more on that on another video. Krubs serves as the enemy in this episode, pretty much sucking up to the school board the whole time, making it so clear that this is why the mystery is not getting solved, guys, because Mr. Krubs is getting in everything. He threatens the school newspaper if they end up releasing an article about, you know, the negative things going on in their school, and it becomes this huge freedom of speech episode, which Mr. Monroe tries to remain anonymous and not be involved. When they print the school newspaper, they put him on the front and cover.
Ah! Why is my face on the cover? Seth! Mr. Monroe was supposed to be an unnamed source.
Oh, I didn't name him. I just printed his picture. The other one was so dark.
That was the point!
Which is so funny, because apparently Seth did that, and he didn't even think about it, which is, I can't believe that. The kids basically try to collect all the school newspapers because they don't want to get the teacher in trouble. But yeah, too late. The whole thing gets out. It's a huge scandal that Ned, Moze, and Cookie, you know, we're at the helm of, which is kind of a cool idea when you think about it. These 3 kids making that big of a wave in the school community, like, that's kind of crazy.
Pool in your backyard?
Yeah, the whole thing's gonna cost about 20 grand, now that we're going with the expensive tiles.
Moral of the story, like, you should be able to say whatever you want. They find $20,000 missing dollars, and yeah, a bunch of people get in trouble. It's cool because we have, like, a villain in this episode that isn't somebody we've seen before. It's, like, this man that's on the school board who was taking a lot of money. Actually, that's going to end up in prison. That's kind of crazy. One of the tips in this episode is not a writer, not a problem. Learn the school newspaper. Yeah, I guess you don't really have to write for the school newspaper. You can still be involved in, like, pictures or, like, gathering of stories. It's very interesting. I never got to join myself, but it sounds like something, like, that would be really fun for any kid, like journalism. The biggest part of both of these episodes is probably the fact that Moze and Ned had another kiss, and Moze was reflecting on it this whole time. It really shows that stuff's going on, guys.
What are you so deep in thought about?
Jennifer.
Quick shout out to the C-plot. Cookie uses the school newspaper's horoscope to get a bunch of people throughout the school to buy him gifts. Definitely a really funny subplot. If you know me, you know I like astrology. It's funny to think about all the signs and like which ones relate to each other, especially as a writer. I feel like it reminds me of like the 7 characters of comedy. It's a very famous like trope book. So all this stuff is very interesting to me. This next one is pretty encapsulating of the middle school experience. It's the essential health class episode, yeah, where Mr. Monroe is teaching, and he says that every kid goes through hormones, mood swings, body odors, and an embarrassing itch, which is cool because it actually has each of the characters getting one of these things. Ned gets the itch, Cookie shows up with mood swings, and Mr. Monroe has everybody do CPR with this really dirty, disgusting dummy. I can't believe this is even legal to have something happen like this. Moze's plot is avoiding using the dummy, and it's kind of gross.
Tomorrow, there is no way I'm putting my lips on that thing.
Nay, Jennifer Ann Mosley. Health problem, doesn't want to put lips on Larry.
They even have like a whole makeover for the dummy. I don't know why this is even necessary. Yeah, Cookie has so many mood swings, but they actually address it in a really interesting way. Ned deals with his itch by like getting talcum powder and stealing it from Mr. Sweeney, and then him and Mr. Sweeney kind of bond, and everybody gets like a little bit of a mentor in this episode to help them realize, you know, like it's normal to grow up and have these issues, which I really like. I feel like it's a very positive episode in that sense. In this whole episode, Cookie thinks that Moze killed Feynman because of the dummy, like she's trying to get rid of the school dummy, and of course, like that has to just be an exaggerated reaction.
She got rid of Feynman because he's a bad kisser!
Moze and Gordy are caught carrying the dummy by Mr. Monroe, who admit he hates the dummy too. Aw, okay, I guess. But the school won't give him more money for it, and that's real. In the end, Cookie confronts Moze, Gordy, and Mr. Monroe, who all reveal that the body is just the Rescue Larry guy, which is ridiculous. And then Ned ends up not itching, but he turns out to have body odor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the tips in this is more than a class. Health is a lifesaver, which is so true. I like this episode a lot. The next is Guide to Jealousy. So after Missy is forced Ned to kiss her again, she starts acting like his girlfriend and gets really clingy and possessive of him, even though he doesn't really like her back. It's kind of crazy. He's like scaring other girls away from him.
She's crazy with the jealousy.
Keep moving, no Ned to see here.
And she's super funny in this episode, the way she like protects Ned. Like, look at all this. This is so crazy. Suddenly, Missy has a problem with Moze and Ned. They have to pretend to be in a relationship in order to get Missy off Ned's back.
Terrorizing me and innocent girls all over the school.
So Missy does not believe that Moze and Ned are in a relationship, so they keep having to make it look more and more and more realistic, only leading to more kissing and more connection. Like, I can't believe how many times they, like, just keep bringing this up. Can they just be together already? Cookie remarks to himself that he has a new girlfriend. Himself? Lisa jealous?
Oh yeah, totally goo goo gaga in love.
I didn't know. Well, I'll see you later.
And of course, he has this whole plot line with Lisa, and she's not jealous at all, except it makes Evelyn jealous. So yes, and this episode becomes about Evelyn being jealous.
Get ready to meet the perfect girlfriend who will drive Lisa jealous crazy.
And suddenly, she is possessive of Cookie. So it's a bunch of these girls being possessive over the guys. Kind of crazy. And this is the episode where Feynman gets in a fight with Billy Loomer, who gets in a fight with Seth, because they all have a crush on Moze. Oh my gosh. So everybody ends up fighting and fighting. Meanwhile, Ned and Moze are pretending to be in a relationship, and at the end it gets really funny because it's like Ned has to fight the other three guys that like Moze, and isn't that just how the real world is, guys?
Hey, that's Jennifer! And she's holding Ned romantically.
I think you might have a new problem.
In the end, Moze yells at Missy to stay away from Ned, and yeah, they finally, I guess, got her off his back, but the problem's not really solved. The tips in this one are be confident, be grateful, and not jealous. Control jealousy, don't let it control you. Okay, so these are good episode ideas. But yeah, it's cute because it's like everything is kind of pushed to its limit at this point. So the final episode before our series finale, literally our 3-part episode where Ned and Moze fully decide to get into a relationship, we have the episode where they're about to get into a relationship. The first episode is called Guide to Tests, and again, seems like it should have been done in the first season, but okay.
So your essay exam will be on Thursday.
Thursday!
Ned has a major test in literally every class, requiring him to be a completely different person if he ever wants to graduate, which is definitely like very real. It reminds me of the SATs a little bit. So everybody's dealing with some sort of test.
A compatibility test?
Like, Cookie, for example, thinks him and Evelyn might have a chance together. I mean, mainly because she's been chasing him and he's been like, oh, I guess I should figure this out.
We'll find out scientifically if I'm your type or, say, Seth.
Where he is trying to see if they would end up in a relationship together, kind of obnoxious if you ask me. He puts her in this ridiculous amount of activities, like dunking a basketball, pretty much driving her to have a crush on Seth. Okay, so yeah, they kind of end up together, which I do not see coming. Meanwhile, Moze's test is actually a relationship test.
My sole desire is to taste all my tests so my mom won't cry. And then drink this pink smoothie.
But yeah, so she's testing both Faven and Ned on this Cosmo test, which is pretty much asking about all their different personality quirks.
You're testing Faven against Ned with a magazine?
Ned is like focused on getting these final exams figured out, so he's obviously gonna be focused on that the whole time. Very dismissive toward Moze, pretty much getting every question wrong, but it's actually getting her to question it. You could tell throughout this whole thing that she's like, dang, like maybe it's not supposed to go to my test, maybe it's even better. Ned becomes like a full-on nerd in the way the Getting Organized episode kind of was, but this time he is personally choosing to take on that lifestyle. There's a bunch of other nerds here that we've never met before, and they carry around a cult, which is kind of funny to think about. Then we have a bunch of tips based on testing, which is so funny. By the end of the episode, Ned ends up actually fully committing, getting all the tests correct, and then learns that he might have failed the most important test of them all, Moze's test.
I aced him. But I think I might have failed the most important one.
And he got a 0. Oh my god, these scores are not fair at all, actually. So yeah, it's just Moze having like a weird revelation about all this. Leading us perfectly into the next episode when you like somebody who's going out with somebody else. Crazy, but Ned realizes at the end of this one that he does like Moze.
What's the story with you guys anyway?
Okay.
But yeah, when he commits to liking her, obviously it's a big issue because she's still dating Feynman. And this is like a really sad episode. I don't know why, the idea of watching somebody go out with somebody else when you like them just feels gut-wrenching to me. I don't know how Ned functions, especially realizing that all of this is like out of his control. It must be really hard. Gordy obviously tries to intersect and help, but it really doesn't set him up at all.
We've been friends for so long, and going out could ruin that, and it completely bombed my boyfriend test. But yeah, I think I like him.
Moze is put to the test when she's told that Feynman might be moving. Oh my gosh. So now Moze needs to decide if she actually likes Feynman, like should he stay here or should he move? He wants to choose, he's either choosing soccer or her because she's the only reason he would stay. Meanwhile, Cookie is dealing with Lisa Zemo. She has a line of guys trying to get her attention, and Cookie is like about to give up until he decides to turn on all of them and try to get her affection. He locks them outside, and she becomes depressed, which is fair enough. Like, I mean, I don't get what Cookie is doing to this poor girl. Like, he wants to be with her one day he doesn't. He sets all the guys free and allows her to be herself at the end of the day and accepts that it's not going to be in a relationship with her. Except for when we get to the final episode, we'll bring that back. But, you know, for now, this is a big deal. So Ned has to get his stuff together and try to tell Moze if he likes her, but every opportunity dodges it. Like, he tries to go with flowers, but gets chased by bees. Like, it seems like impossible, and the universe is working against them. Kind of like that episode where he was going to give her flowers for the woodshop thing, but then it ended up not working out. Yeah, Moze is ignoring all signs now, because since that Cosmo test, she's completely got her eyes open and committed to not being with Ned. But when she gets the final decision to ask him to stay or go, Ned loses the race to getting to her, so Cookie and Gordy are the ones that it's up to. So he dresses up like a Cupid, which I can't believe the production helped him do this, and tries to get this note to Moze so she could ask him to leave, which she does. Perfect timing. So Ned and Moze are finally about to walk up to one another and accept their relationship and maybe be together. And literally the entire class starts clapping. Kind of reminds me of the Scrubs finale. They did something similar where they had all past characters come back and cheer for the main guy. That's kind of what's going on here. Up until right before they're about to kiss, Susie
Crabgrass!
Yeah, Susie's a wolf again.
comes in. Oh my gosh. So the perfect end to the final episode that's normal of Ned's Declassified before the movie and or series finale. The test episode has the most tips in I've seen any episode so far, but then again, I've only been rewatching the 3rd season. The first one is step 1, change your routine, put down video games, pick up flashcards, carry flashcards to make any time a study time, multiple choice, face the facts, don't second guess, the first choice is always the best. Essay, focus on understanding, less on facts. Oh my god, this feels like I'm reading like a school assigned book. It's so annoying. Got tests, take a week to be a geek. Okay, fair enough. You'll have less anxiety and get better grades. Oh, okay, fair enough. And then at the end of the most recent episode, we have be a vice boyfriend or a vice girlfriend. What?
If you like someone but they like someone else, don't be hopeless. Be a vice boyfriend or vice girlfriend.
School romances rarely last forever. Whoa. And then, so hang nice and be a potential date, not a real date. Oh my gosh. And don't come on too strong. See, that's the only one I think is relevant. Yeah, so weird. This is the last appearance of iTeacher, Albert Warmenheimer, Nurse Hunsucker. It's really sad to see everybody's final episodes, but hey. Evelyn breaks up with Cookie and goes out with Seth, and that's just the most important thing to remember about all this.
I repeat, I'm naked!
Ned's Declassified has always been like a unique Nickelodeon show, doing something slightly different than Drake and Josh, iCarly, a lot of the Dan Schneider shows. Like, they had a really genuine approach to their storytelling. Now, while the comedy writing is expertise in Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, this, I would say, is best writing for kids in general. Like, there's lessons, there's a lot of really heartfelt moments. Ned's Declassified was just a point in time where they were somehow able to get people who appreciated comedy and also somehow convinced people like me who thought this show seemed a little too preachy to enjoy it. Like, it felt like a little bit a step above one of those training videos you'd watch in like a class or something. Something really good is the 3rd season does a great job at setting up all these character arcs and completing them by this episode. Something that other shows may not have even gotten the ability to do by this point. Zoe 101 ended up with Chase coming back. Drake and Josh ended up with Josh and Mindy getting back together. And even iCarly had their direct goodbye. Like, this one is a very close second behind that for me. Something that they did that nobody else did was really working their way up to this finale.
Moze and I are best friends, and I was unsure of my feelings for her. And just when I was gonna take a huge risk and ask her out, Susie moved back.
The first episode of season 3 was about the new grade, the final grade, already introducing the fact that these guys are getting ready for high school. And they even have Susie, Ned's girlfriend, move away, leaning into his relationship with Moze. Moze also gets a boyfriend, and even starts to deal with thoughts of liking her best friend Ned way before it even gets brought up.
So this is definitely a sign that Ned and Susie should be together. Not me and Ned.
It's the love story Zoe 101 kind of failed to do. And with Moze, Ned, and Cookie at the brink of their last year, things are about to get heated up as we get to the final 2-part episode, the longest episode of Ned's Declassified. Field trips, permission slips, signs, and Weasel. Yeah, it's already by the title seeming like they're trying to address it as if it's 4 separate episodes, but it's really 4 separate plots all going on.
Only it won't be fair. It'll be you guys.
Let's remember that the creator of this show also created Big Time Rush, and they were really good at doing these overarching plots. It starts with that day in the life vibe, somehow making it about the school one last time, which I really appreciated. Like, I was excited to see them go outside the school, but the fact that they are weaving us into it is a lot better. We're introduced to the idea of field trips, the best idea that Ned's Declassified could have had, saving it for this end, which I definitely appreciate. It could have been like a one-off episode and not even been interesting, but this is the ultimate build-up.
There are signs that tell us one of the biggest and best days of school is here!
Everybody has something to deal with in this episode. Moze has to deal with her feelings toward Ned and figuring out if she wants a relationship or not and actually committing to that, while Ned wants to solidify his relationship with Susie in order to get Moze out of his head, which is definitely a guy-like thing to do. Cookie, in the meantime, is trying to get the affection of Lisa, who once used to be a nerd and now she's pretty and he wants her now. I don't know why we're not talking about the fact that he's so shallow that he actually has to wait for her to get beautiful to even like her. Like, that's crazy to me. The way they deal with these goals are actually really funny. Like, for example, Cookie, in order to impress Lisa, keeps going to his alter ego as the Silver Eagle or whatever, and Ned wants to take Susie to the Rose Garden to get a kiss.
And we're gonna totally make out.
You mean like this?
Moze wants to see the wild boy in the museum and actually enjoy this field trip. And it's fun because these goals are so flexible that they end up turning all on their heads constantly. Meanwhile, we have Billy Loomer, the bully, trying to get the affection of Moze in this, which is super funny. Like, I feel like he's always tried to get her, but the fact that he's super committed at this point is awesome. Like, even his bully friends, like, help him get ready. It's so adorable. The first obstacle these guys have to deal with is permission slips, which is aptly named in the title. Their biggest enemy at this portion is Krubs, who does not want them to go on the field trip because they broke a bunch of laws. Really, he's just being petty, honestly, if we have to deal with it.
Well, I guess we'll never know. But I do know Cook can't go on the field trip, so boo-hoo for you.
Did you guys ever have a teacher sabotage you from going on a field trip? Yeah, me neither. So yeah, he puts the guys in detention, and immediately 10 minutes in, I'm like, how in the world are they going to get past this? Like, already this is a convoluted special, and I'm here for it. With the buses already arriving at Polk Middle School, Ned, Moze, and Cookie are only able to get there by putting cardboard cutouts of themselves in the desks. And this is where this, like, wacky, ridiculous comedy comes in. Like, it's just so unrealistic. That's why it's interesting to look at Drake and Josh, because theirs are pretty grounded and the comedy comes naturally, while this leans into being more kid show comedy. It feels like they're ages apart somehow. Ned gives us tips literally after they got on the bus, which is cool. We're already heavy into this. And there's just so much going on. They even try to solve plots that go on between side characters. Like, for example, Gordy comes in and saves the day for Ned, Moze, and Cookie one last time, actually helping them get onto the bus. With Krubs constantly at these guys' necks, he is determined to make sure they do not go on the field trip. And you feel bad for them because you're like, wow, there's no way they can get around this. And the writers did a good job at putting us in a position where we have anxiety for these kids, because I was taken right back to my school days and was very stressed about it. Gordy is immediately fired in this, which kind of strikes me as really intense. Like, it seems like they're not afraid to go there 10 minutes into this whole special, and I am terrified. They finally get to the field trip, and it's this really nice outdoorsy place. Finally, we're just outside of the school, and it's so much better. Moze and Ned start having a lot more awkward interactions, especially when it comes to Billy Loomer trying to vie for her attention. Like, it just seems like the stakes are pulled and pulled. The Steel Eagle, Cookie's little alter ego counterpart, ends up saving the day.
She'll love me and ask me out for pizza.
Whatever.
Against a bunch of robbers, and we learn that the robbers are just football players making a whole fake thing to look better in front of Lisa. And I've never seen this in a TV show where a superhero, just to impress a girl, like, doesn't have any powers, doesn't genuinely try to do good in the world. He just straightforward uses it as a ploy to win a woman over. And I can't believe he does this. This kind of, like, gets points down for me. But hey, it's interesting. We have Mr. Sweeney, the choir teacher, and a bunch of other past substitutes to create this, like, full circle moment. And you may be wondering where the other teachers are. Well, they're with Gordy.
And it ain't my dodgeball!
Well then, while the kids are on a field trip, we're going on a hunting trip.
Now that Gordy's fired, he is no longer worried about how he comes across trying to stop the weasel, and therefore starts to put all of his cards on the deck and take them down. The remainder of the teachers that didn't make it on the field trip make an appearance, working with him to help take down this weasel. And that's a really fun goal, because then we get to see all the teachers one more time. They even get one more plot. And, you know, the adults having their own side plot, it's super fun. Ned, being so close to being caught by Krubs, pretty much has to ditch Susie at every chance he gets, and it's kind of sad. We end up seeing this guy named Willie Galt and Vanneral Wright, which are fake newscasters that have come up on the show before, like in the Spelling Bee from season 1. They just commentate on everything going on, and they're talking about how the museum actually gets involved, which is so funny and relevant. Like, do you remember going on field trips and having the teachers be like, don't embarrass us, like, don't touch anything, just make sure we look good? Like, this is why they tell us that, because in the special, the people at the museum must hate Polk Middle School because they are dodging Krubs and starting to do whatever it takes to take down these kids as well. With everybody against Ned, Cookie, and Moze, it starts to get really stressful. In trying to get away from Krubs, Ned ends up sneaking into the museum, and oh my god, he is so close to being caught, but he's managing to get out of it by switching clothes with Coconut Head. Krubs ends up thinking that it's Ned, which honestly, I was like a full relief, because that is the best, because of course, like, you got Krubs off your tail. You're able to get away with being on the field trip. It's nice. Ned has a moment with Sweeney where he's trying to get away and hiding in a tree, and Sweeney like has the opportunity to tell on him, and he actually has a good moment and decides not to reveal Ned and let him enjoy the field trip, but he's not going to help him down from the tree. Okay, real nice teacher.
Consider this my early graduation gift to you, Mr. Bigby.
I feel like if you were a teacher and noticed that, you definitely would have to report it. Like, I can't imagine this going well. The entire museum is trying to track down the Steel Eagle and Cookie, clearly, thinking that it's so much bigger of a deal than it is, and I can't believe these kids are, like, going out of their way to get their goals, because at this point, it's really risky, and not only would they get kicked off the field trip, I feel like they would get expelled. Like, this has to be some, like, unforgivable stuff going on. Ned ends up being naked, which, of course, they have to do that in these kid shows, because he gave his clothes to Coconut Head, and now he's screwed. He needs the help of Moze, and this is funny, because she does come through for him, and it kind of leans to them being in a relationship, because why didn't he call Susie? You know, like, he clearly must have feelings toward Moze if he's trusting her way more. And that's like why this is a good representation of teenage love, because this is so how it is. Like, you're too awkward around the one you have a crush on, and the people you actually get to know and care for end up being like your closest friends. It's kind of like a crazy situation, but it does happen. Ned slowly becomes more and more appearing like the wild boy, because one, he loses his clothes, he gets this grass skirt, and everybody's after him. Of course, he's gonna act crazy. Moze wants to finally get back at Ned by calling his bluff, because both of them are seeing signs that they should be together, and Ned is avoiding it, trying to cover it up with Susie, while Moze is trying to cover it up with avoidance. So Ned's like the anxious attachment, and Moze is like the avoidant attachment, which is why they're like definitely butting heads at this point. I would too, Moze. Like, I would be very resentful at Ned if you're having feelings for this person, they're just trying to vie for somebody else. Like, that's very frustrating.
Why don't you get your girlfriend to do it?
Because I'm naked!
Moze tries to get him back by actually inviting Loomer to the Rose Garden, where all four of them end up meeting, and this big kiss is supposed to happen, the one that Ned's been trying all this episode to get. And yeah, it's a big deal. The stakes are raised.
Somebody just kiss somebody?
Perfect time to cut away to Gordy and all the other teachers taking down the Weasel. Like, they end up destroying the school completely, which I find hilarious. The vice principal, like, acknowledges how bad this is, and all of them are so willing to help Gordy, even though it's gonna probably get him fired. Right before the kiss, though, everything comes to a head with Cookie running through and the museum employees chasing him, almost ruining the kiss, and Ned and Moze run away, listening to these signs that they should be together by leaving Susie and Loomer behind, who they both just look at each other and say, let's get back together, which that is a good representation of teenage love, like, if I ever seen it. Kind of annoying, because why, but, you know, it's fair. I guess they worked up for that. It's a kid's show. Yeah, just the way everything culminates in, like, pushing Ned and Moze together. Like, these signs are just such a intense thing. And then meanwhile, they have this extra, like, fifth or sixth plot. I don't know what's going on, but there's a bunch of people trying to steal the museum art, within the building, and Ned, Moze, and Cookie's hijinks happen to get in the way and distract them from defeating their goals.
Gentlemen, I hope you like money.
You're not allowed to touch the art, punk!
Making the museum appreciative of them, and yeah, everything seems to work out. My favorite part, though, is the moment where Ned realizes he likes Moze. And that kind of makes me forgive him for all of this really jerky stuff he does as a teenage boy, like using Susie to forget about her, ditching Moze at every chance he gets. Like Ned is just not the best boyfriend, honestly. But he's trying, and it's really sweet when they have no other choice, and there's this big chase scene leading Ned to fall into the flowers. And it's such an aesthetically pleasing shot, just seeing him, like, in the yellow flowers. And he starts to have a musical montage of every moment he had with Moze, which is actually really sweet. It makes it seem like this entire show was building up toward that, even though it kind of wasn't. It was just this genuinely good show, trying to be funny while also relating to its audience. And yeah, it definitely related to me, especially since I grew up into liking girls as this show went on. So of course I'm gonna empathize with Ned and what he's going through. And having these plots lead to such extreme circumstances is hilarious. And it's almost really romantic to imagine how far all these three kids have come since season 1. You know, like at first they were just this awkward teens, already friends from the beginning of the show, and through all these trials and tribulations in the first season, the second season, even the third season, they developed a really intimate relationship with each other where they trust each other.
Was I interrupting something?
We're going out now.
Cool.
And their bond is stronger than most things. As you know, they have a podcast till this day, which I used to listen to it, and it's pretty interesting, but I don't follow it too well. I am sad about all this Tyler Chase stuff going on, though. Like, you know, he's this actor playing one of the main characters from Ned's. He's been having a really rough time outside of Hollywood, and obviously there's a lot of concern going around for him, and I'm not sure the best way to approach taking care for him, because I know it's very specific when it comes to like homelessness and like how to deal with their family. So it's important that he gets the resources he needs, and hopefully somebody can get him some help very soon. I know Cookie helped him, and that was really sweet. So yeah, Krubs finally has to let it go, allowing all three kids to win, and we get this really awesome moment where Cookie and Lisa end up together, Ned and Moze, and they head out back to the school, only to find it destroyed. And it is depressing. Like, look at this place. This is like, dang, like I can't believe they got away with this. I mean, like, why wouldn't Gordy be fired after something like this? Like, this is going too far. Even I think that this is crossing a line. Or the real principal says he's not going to let it happen. So I guess Krubs is screwed. And I don't know how they're going to go on as a middle school in general next year, but I guess that's not even our concern, because the writers literally can do whatever they want now that these guys' story arc is over. I would love to have seen this go on to another season, but the fact that it ended here was also perfect. Like, I feel like we always want more, but looking back, this is the perfect way to end it and actually get all we wanted out of these characters in one movie-like adventure that we might not have gotten otherwise. Thank God they had this best plot saved for like the very tail end of the series, because it definitely built momentum. This third season leading up to Ned and Moze and like these highs and lows of their relationship and actually what they want out of 8th grade life. I don't know. It's very sweet to see them come together. I know it's such a weird conversation to have, but I do think there is a right and wrong way to say goodbye to characters, situations, scenes. Like, it needed to end. Thank you guys so much for continuing to watch and support Johnny 2000. It means the world to me to be able to rehash all of these experiences with you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share any of this stuff with your friends, because we are just scratching the surface of the 2000s, and I can't wait to see more with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.